hit Revolution Radio, Studio B, at 11 a.m. on Saturday for free association, when we take a look at philosophy, spirituality, psychology, social issues, and geopolitics. It's every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern on Studio B.
Number 2, German Shepherd dog barking
at
and
Freedom's Lips.
Going on here? I demand an explanation.
We work for a highly funded yet unofficial government agency.
An intelligence organization that fears intelligence, historically not awesome.
The United States is a democratic nation. Here the people rule. We build no walls to keep them in, nor organize any system of police to keep them mute.
Freedom isn't free at all. But it comes with the highest of costs.
We have you, the listeners, and the hosts at
Revolution Radio
for allowing us to bring you a platform of free speech.
Right now, it's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, clock's run out. Time's up.
Wind is blowing cold and dark on the road and no way out. Broken house, the smoking gun, on the run, on the run.
There's a turkey gobbling out in the yard. Now he's gutted and stuffed and he's basted and charred. And your father is whistling and washing the blood down the drain. Christmas is pain. There's a crowd on the hillside with hatchets and saws, with a keen disregard for the forestry laws. And they happily hum while the stumps slowly bleed in the rain. Christmas is pain. And the stockings are hung by the chimney with care, as if anyone in their right mind...
Holy shit, dude, what's the matter? What happened? What's going on? There's so much porn! Well, what the hell are you doing looking at my private shit? What are you talking about? Private shit, Johnny? It was wide open. There were literally thousands of files here. Well, I've been meaning to clear some of that out. Jesus Christ, look at the organization here. Clockwise rim job, counterclockwise rim job. Yeah, well, sometimes you like seeing the tongue go the other way. You sick bastard. Look at this. Chicks with dicks. Oh my God. Oh my God, I have a disease, all right? I need help. There are no chicks with dicks, Johnny. Only guys with tits. Well, this is such a relief. You know what I'm talking about? I'm finally calling you.
Pirate Radio. Welcome to the jungle.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from the broken down, low rent, sleazy, double.
It's Friday night. Revolution Radio. It's freeworld.fm. It's the independent broadcast network. My name's Jimmy. Into the Microcosm is on the out.
Go dancing night in the attic while the moon is rising in the sky. If I'm too rough, tell me I'm your spirit. Your little head will come in my hands.
Down, boy. That's right. It's been a long week. And somehow, some way, we made it here. I'm hanging by a thread in FEMA Region 9. Mine's Jimmy. Looks like I see him over there. I hear his music.
Good love is gone bad, baby.
Rockin' Rio. Are you there?
I might be.
Excellent. Well, you were man enough to drag your ass in here tonight like you're supposed to be. You're not like some other people. I know. We'll talk about that later. I mean, you know, some people got to do yard work and get tired. They get worn out.
I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. I'm tired too. No excuse.
Well, we won't bust too much balls, but
Sweetheart, you've been playing dirty pool.
Gotta admit though, man, when you live in the jungle and you stay away from your place for a little while, it probably grows out pretty profusely, wouldn't you say? The jungle.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got, you know, spiders the size of baseballs.
It's a jungle out there, ladies and gentlemen.
Snakes that are, you know, quarter-mile long.
Well, Bruce McDonald, I see you over there. He's looking high speed tonight. He's looking. He doesn't seem quite as transparent. He seems more solidified, I would say. Wouldn't you say, Rockin' Rio? He looks more like he's of this plane. He's on our plane now. He's up here with 200 meg. Bruce McDonald, are you there?
Yeah, man.
There, see, look, he's there. Look at.
I am linked by the stars, Jimmy. I am star linked.
I know. It's absolutely unbelievable. Well, it's Friday night. It's in the microcosm. freeworld.fm, revolution.radio, independent broadcast network. Rockin' Rio's here. Epic Journeyman's here. Oh, where is Epic Journeyman? He's not here.
He's playing hooky.
He's playing dirty pool, isn't he?
That's
He's
right.
playing hooky. Called in with a lame excuse. But that's all right. Usually when you text your boss, you're better off. That way you don't have to give the shaky voice or whatever. Oh, I'm not feeling too good today, Bob. I don't think I'm going to make it. You know? So you send the text. There's no tone. There's only, okay, see you Monday, Bill. Hope you have a good one. Take care of yourself. You know. Now, Rio, you've been sick, haven't you, man? You were sick last week. You got sick.
Yeah, it's still hanging on a little bit.
Well, you're here, though. I mean, these days, when I hear somebody get sick, I don't know what's going to happen. You know, it's not like it used to be. You know, sitting there at work today talking to a dude, and he was like, yeah, man, I lost 2 people last week. You know, I lost somebody, last week. I lost 2 people 2 months ago, all this stuff. And I'm just sitting there thinking, man, this is like a normal conversation in America now. You sit at the table and talk about who died last week.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I mean, it's getting weird, man. I mean, it's starting to look like that Deagle shit seems kind of, believable at this point. There's enough.
Yeah, well, Michelle Pfeiffer has a few confirmed kills under her belt. That's for sure.
Are you guys baiting me here? I feel like I'm being set up for conversational date rape here.
No, we're just talking, man. If you're getting triggered, that's not my fault. That's what happens.
This is totally predicted. Everybody who spoke about this, at first tepidly against the scientific consensus being promulgated by the mainstream media, and then more assertively as time rode on, and now definitively. I mean, this is democide. I've been saying this. I've been saying this for some time now. Not only have I been saying this is democide.
We've been saying Michelle is dangerous for the last 2.5 years now.
But that's just one front. We haven't the food stuff hasn't really hit yet. Okay, and medical service is just abysmal. I don't know what it's like in the U.S. Probably okay if you have money, but the stories I'm hearing out of Canada
it's not
now,
okay, man. It's not okay because you go in but you don't come out. It's like a roach motel.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like you're spinning. Go ahead.
There was a woman in British Columbia. She went into the emergency with extreme abdominal pain. They eventually saw her, diagnosed her with stage 4 stomach cancer, and had her scheduled for like an elective surgery 12 months down the road. But the diagnosis was like you have 2 months to live. And they offered her medical aid, medical assistance in death, the Canadian euthanasia. They literally took her into a room and said, "Have you considered MAID? Like, kill yourself." She booked the surgery in a U.S. hospital, probably just pop down to Seattle. That's where you'd go if you're in BC. It's like an hour. Had the surgery in a day. She's alive and well to tell the story. But it's just one of numerous horror stories coming out of Canada now. Can you imagine? Do you want to kill yourself? We could save you quite easily. This is fairly routine surgery to extract cancer from your stomach, and you'd live another 10 or 15 years. But we just can't fit you in right now. Would you like a peaceful death? Could you imagine being told that after paying your taxes your whole life? Like, you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. Down, boy. Down. Down, boy. Jesus. Almost took my arm off. Listen, the thing is, man, is that we talked a little bit about it before, and I know people, in the conservative and community don't like Cuba because it's communist. Okay? But in Cuba, all the doctors get paid $20 an hour. So if you want to be a doctor, you choose to be a doctor because you want to do that. That's what you want to do, is help people. It doesn't matter how much you make. You want $20 an hour. But when you take and turn something, a healing art into a business, then what can you expect but to have every single dollar extracted out of you if you're so unlucky as to end your ass up in the hospital for some reason? A lot of people have to make decisions about stuff. You get a chance to make a decision, but lots of people don't have a chance. You don't have a chance to make a decision. I've been thinking about this a lot for the last couple of weeks, actually. I wasn't planning to talk about it tonight, but I don't mind sharing some of it. It's like we all take for granted we're just walking around and things are the way they are, and things are going to always be that way, But you know what, man? You could have an episode of some kind, and your brain's just not the same anymore. I mean, it's just not the same. You're not the same. You can't think the same. You can't do the same shit you used to do. It's all different now. It's all different. It changed in one flat second. Took everything for granted and boom. Now all of a sudden you wake up and you can see out of your eyes, but you can't move. You can't move your hands. You can't move you can't talk. Think about that. It just happens just like that. The person that it happened to, they were just sitting there, they're minding their own business 2 seconds ago. Everything was normal. Matter of fact, they were just about to get in an argument with their wife about squeezing the toothpaste from the middle of the tube. They were contemplating all the horrible shit they were going to say. And then, plink! And they woke up, and there they were, looking around. They didn't know where they were. They could tell they were alive, but they couldn't move their hands. They couldn't move their fingers. All of a sudden, just like that. And everything was normal 2 seconds ago, Bruce. So, I mean, time is precious. I mean, you know, the more of it you have, the less you pay attention to how much it's worth. It starts to get worth more and more as the sand in the hourglass starts to, you know, dribble out of there. You know, and then all of a sudden you don't know how much time you have, do you, Bruce?
No, you don't. But I mean, you can do the best you can, Jimmy. I mean, you can take care of yourself. Like I'm scheduled for another fast. I did a 2-week fast about 5 months ago, around the beginning, in the first month of this book I was working on. And now I'm going to do another one. I'm going to do like 3 weeks or 4 weeks.
That's cool.
Fasting.
That's cool that you're going to do a
fast.
fast.
The number one thing for longevity and health. It literally goes through your body. Your immune system perks up after 3 days without food. And all the cancer cells, all the bad stuff in your body, the immune system just goes to work on everything. It's got the time and the energy to do it. Not everybody can do it, right? Like you can't work a full-time job and do a liquid fast on maple syrup and lemon or anything like that. But I mean, if you take care of yourself, you'll live a long time, man. I mean, I'm 57
It doesn't matter
and a half,
how much
and
you
I
take care of yourself,
Even
man.
at this age, I can drop down and do a set of 65 push-ups, like special forces push-ups. You don't have to age. It's all in your head, man.
Yeah, well, the thing is that's a bunch of that's not necessarily true, I wouldn't say. And we're not offering medical advice here on Into the Microcosm, but I mean, the thing is man, what was the guy's name that was eating the grape nuts? What was that dude's name? Have you ever ate a pine tree? Many parts are edible. What was that dude's name?
I don't know.
Yeah, he was a guy who used to do these grape nuts commercials. He was a health nut. He was like some marathon runner or whatever, and he died, cancer. Never smoked. He just dead.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you do, man. Doesn't matter what you do. Because the
just
moment
look at what Wheaties did to Bruce.
There you go.
Not you, Bruce. The other Bruce.
I know.
I'm just saying. See, the point is not matter what you. It doesn't matter what you do. The moment of truth's going to come for you when that time comes. Anytime when that is, and hopefully it'll be just one, and that's it. But the thing is Bruce. I mean. And Rio and everybody, are y'all prepared to, just go now? I mean, if you had to go right now, now is the moment that you went. I mean, did you say I love you to all the right people today? Did you make the right choices, man? Were you a conscious human being, being conscious about how you interact with others, how you make them feel a result, come in contact with you?
I have no fear of death.
Me neither.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, because fear is a killer, isn't it? And everybody's been living in fear for the last 3 years, whatever it's been, The axe has been hanging over the sword of Damocles,
Democide, man. Death by government.
But you're living in a constitutional free zone over there, Bruce. You got no constitution to protect you over there on the mountain. You got no paper. Hey, the founding fathers? Do you think they're like what we're saying about the 1800s? They say founded in 1853. I mean, they found it then? You think the founding fathers were the first group of people to come over here after the last reset? And I think, wasn't there an America before the Constitution? I think there was like 13 colonies, weren't there? I think there were
several presidents before the
that's what I mean.
George Washington.
That's what I'm saying. The first president was a black dude, wasn't it?
No,
literally,
he actually wasn't.
He was though. Actually, he was.
Come on, Jimmy.
No, he was.
Jimmy, I actually did dig into that.
Did you?
And the people that are claiming to be his descendants are not of color. It's a name swap that some people are doing to try to say that the first president was black, but he definitely was not.
Well, when they were saying this was a long time ago. I mean, this is I think even before Obama was trying to be president. Lots of people were saying that he was. So you looked into it, huh?
I looked into it, and it was it was absolutely disproven that the first president was black. I could actually look it up again. I think I still have it here somewhere.
Well, I wouldn't have a problem with it if he was. I mean, there's a whole.
No, I mean,
there's
I
a
wouldn't
whole.
either, but it's
listen,
just, you know,
there's a whole.
It's stated as a fact because a certain group wants to proliferate that.
I would have a serious problem with it if it were true.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. There's people that's. I mean, listen. I don't want to get too controversial here. The first hour, but there's people that say that Lincoln was a black dude, man. I'm not shitting.
Yeah.
You can go look it up,
Yeah.
man. It's what's it called?
Yeah, but
something Africanus. He's called something Africanus, and he was like a Moor king.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole subculture out there talking about this stuff. The Moors are a fascinating topic.
Oh man!
And for my money, more fascinating than the alleged Tartaria. Like that is like the great unknown topic in history. My issue with the first president being black would be, I mean, if they could do that back then, what was done to them? And if they could do that to them, when are they going to do it to us? Right? That's my issue with it.
Yeah, we should talk about the Moors some night. I think people would be amazed.
Peyton Randolph was the first president of the Continental Congress.
What was it? Peyton Randolph?
Peyton Randolph in 1774, followed by Henry Middleton and John Hancock.
See, doesn't this, man, this to me, it seems like there was a reset, okay? And then they had put together a ragtag 13 colony government. And then here came these guys with all these cannons and ships and wigs, and they said, no, we found this place. We're the founders. We're the founding fathers. Get the F out.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of, for some reason the other day when I heard him called the founding fathers, I all of a sudden went, wait a minute. It sounds like founded in 1892 or whatever. It's like, I found it. It's mine. New York City. You know what I mean, Rio?
I think.
Go ahead.
I think the root of that word is actually foundry in the metallurgical sense. I don't think it's like found as in I found it or find something.
No, I know. See, that's what we've all thought all this time.
Right.
See, that's what I mean.
Ahead of me there, Jimmy.
It's hidden in plain sight. I don't know. It's too much. I mean, it's an interesting. I mean, it's an interesting subject for me, man. I really enjoy finding out more and more about, the proposed history of the world. I think it's interesting. I mean, at this point, it's anybody's game. Whoever's got the best explanation for what, I mean, it's obviously doesn't add up, right? There used to be this comedian, and, his thing was, it don't add up. Like, he'd go through his bit, and he'd tap his hand and go, it don't add up! It don't add up! Forget that guy's name. He was funny, though. But anyway, so it's tough to really get a hold on whatever it is. So at this point, you can fantasize whatever you think it is, look at something, and then make it up. Look at this building here. Look at this giant building with these giant doors, and man, they didn't have trucks. They didn't have this. They didn't have that. They were just pulling this shit around on the back of a wagon. Who invented the wheel, Rio? I mean, what were they doing? What was some dude doing? He's like sitting there naked in the field, thinking to himself, oh, man, I wonder if I just took this thing and made it round, and then I put an axle or some sort of device to put another one on the other side. Then I could haul twice as much material. I could pull it, Rio. I could haul twice. I mean, were people actually figuring out how to work more efficiently? Is that why the wheel came into being? Who knows why? You know what I mean? I mean, just think about yourself on a Saturday afternoon, and it's a nice warm day, and you're sitting in your yard, you're barbecuing and stuff, and there's shit to do, I mean, are you like thinking about ways you can? I mean, what do you want to relax, don't you? Seems to me human beings in paradise would just be lollygagging around naked, going swimming, eating a coconut or you know what I mean? Why are people being productive? What is it that stirs the human being to create and invent? Is necessity the mother of invention, Bruce? Necessity?
Well, I mean, it's spiritual. Our Creator is in a constant, never-ending process of creation, and time is one of the paints on His palette, right? To paint the canvas of our reality, and we mimic the Creator by creating. We co-create. This is how we become minor gods. Creation and work itself is very spiritual, man. And it's just I see people do stuff up here, like fixing up their properties, and they have no money. The shit they can do is mind-boggling. I had one guy, guy's just living in a wood shack. He did a flower archway, like big enough that 4 people could walk under this arch of flowers. And he did it with vines. The flowers all grew in. I went, man, that's mind-boggling. Like absolutely mind-boggling, right? People do stuff to express themselves. It's what we do, Jimmy. It's just very, very simple.
Now, see, that's interesting, but still, in all, I'm still wondering. There's still this, for some reason, in the human being, there's this yearning for something else or something more or something different. There's some reason the human being's not happy where it is. It needs to go across the sea. You know what I mean? It's not good. Yeah. It's not good down here in the valley. It has to climb the mountain. And a lot of times, at least in times of old, there was no compensation for any of that. So it was just a matter of, you accomplished it and that was it. And that's pretty much kind of the same way it is for us now, right? We make these accomplishments and then we carry that inside of us, on the road or on the path that we're on. That's what forges us into the people that we end up being. That's what gives us the wisdom, and strength to carry on through this, morass of indecisive activity in the modern world. Now, you were saying I brought up the wheel earlier because you were saying that you were feeling like Starlink was just as important as the wheel or the printing press, for that matter.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, to be able to have, like, this is a game changer for me. I can do a full-on consultancy now and look for really serious work with serious deadlines and stop dicking around and be able to conduct long Zoom meetings and all the stuff of a true remote consultancy. Mm-hmm. I couldn't do it with my own internet. So this is a total game changer for me, man.
Well,
it's just unbelievable.
This is what Peter Diamandis was talking about. This is the guy that set up the X Prize. And he had a very, very positive outlook on the future of mankind because he was saying that as this type of thing happened, the thing that happened to you, Bruce, which is you have high-speed internet, where at your remote location, which means that everybody in the world can have that same high-speed internet in their remote locations. And what Peter Diamandis was saying, that these brains coming online and having access to this information and to the internet that they'd never had before, that ideas were going to be coming forth exponentially and potentially solving all the problems of mankind. There's somebody out there with a brain that doesn't have an access to the internet that has a solution to a world problem right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And someday that light is going to come on, and when that light comes on, then boom, it comes into the whole or the one.
Despite the harrowing topics we discuss on Into the Microcosm, I'm actually very optimistic about the future. We're going to shake off a percentage of the human population. But look, man, I don't mean to sound like one of them, useless eaters and all that. But look, we are a collective, and the vast majority of human beings are fairly decent, okay? I wouldn't call them overachievers in the first world. You give somebody a civil service job. You pay them $75,000 a year, give them a good dental plan and good medical and a guaranteed pension, and they're just going to put on 60 pounds and watch too much TV. But push comes to shove, they're going to make the right decisions. Most of humanity, their heart's in the right place, and the negatives in our midst have just pushed us too far. But it's going to form a powerful reaction. It's already starting now, and a lot of people are going to die. But as far as I'm concerned, man, if you haven't picked up what's going on now, you're almost worse than the people that are doing it, because you've become like their de facto social bodyguards by not letting our voices get to the greater humanity. I mean, think of these fucking morons who wake up, Jimmy and Rio, and go on Twitter and go on social media and still chastise people and use phrases like tinfoil hat when we're talking about democide and the numbers are in. My God, man, did you guys see this week what happened to the head statistician in New Zealand?
Yeah.
I mean, they swatted the guy. He's been arrested. Now it's come out that 11,000 elites and politicos in New Zealand were given an exemption from Michelle Pfeiffer. Okay? I mean, as far as look, if you can't get on board now and create the zeitgeist that gets these people out of power, at this point, at this precise moment in this historical drama between good and bad, you're actually worse than them now. You're making us all walk with you on our backs, and I'm really focusing a lot of my ire on the people who can't snap out of whatever it is they're still entranced by, because really it's complicity to murder now. I mean, but I'm sure at a cosmic level, if we were to adjudicate this with angels in the jury and a demagogue on the bench, that these people would be found to be accomplices in murder just by the human criminal code in the United States of America. Or at the very least, the way they ended the Seinfeld show, violating the Good Samaritan law, like not stepping up when we need people to step up. It's disgusting. It's the average Joe that disgusts me now. And if you don't know, shut the fuck up. But don't wake up and go on Twitter and start calling people idiots because they're pointing out that they're trying to kill your parents, your brothers and sisters, your children, and you're calling us idiots, and you're just getting in the way. It's like some hero thinking he's saving somebody. Oh, I'm going to step in here and do the right. No, you're actually doing the wrong thing, you fucking moron. Get out of the way.
Listen.
End of rant.
Listen, 4 out of 5 people think Russian roulette's a good game. And Christmas is pain, man. Christmas is pain. It's coming up, Rock and Rio. And Bruce is.
Mow, mow.
Mow.
Mow, mow.
Yeah. Now, seriously, though, what you're saying is true. And I think by 2025, there will be no more conspiracy theorists because everything we said came true. So 2025 looks like it's going to be the year of change coming up. But we're going to have to go through the turmoil of 2024. And we haven't even started. We haven't even gotten there yet. I mean, we still have a couple, 3 weeks before the end of this month and moving into the new year. And, anything can happen every single day. I mean, we talked about gold last Saturday night on the show. We were talking to Billy and we were just talking about gold. And then, gold went up big time, and then gold went back down again,
Yeah.
So I was wondering earlier today, I was sitting there thinking to myself, if they really wanted to get rid of guns and making your ability to buy guns anymore, making that not that possible. I mean, why wouldn't they Rio just go out and just buy up all the gun companies, all the gun manufacturers, just buy them up. Just buy them up and quit making guns, man. Just buy up all the buy the the ammunition companies. Buy them up. Don't make anymore.
Because there's so many guns and so much ammo out there already.
Already.
And even if they shut it down, like cold turkey right now, it wouldn't make a difference.
No. But they don't want to shut it down, as that's the basic bottom line. You know,
if they shut it down, then you can't have anybody shooting stuff up.
Well, hey man, do you think gun manufacturers give a shit about your guns, about your rights? They ain't making guns, for your rights. They make guns to make money. They sell guns.
It's all about dollars.
That's right. They sell guns. They sell ammunition, but they don't give a shit whether or not you can use them to save yourself or your country. They just want to sell guns. And I mean, people are getting edgy, man. People are their finger triggers. Their trigger fingers are itchy right now. You know what I mean? So much has gone on for so long. You think about all the way back to, like, let's say, a Ron Paul running for president. You think back then and till now, all and everything that has gone on. It's literally unbelievable that people have not done anything, Bruce, just like you were saying earlier. Hasn't enough gone? I mean, what's it going to take? Seriously, what would it take to get everybody out in the street for the same reason with signs in their hand, regardless if they're liberals or if they're conservatives? What would it take for people to come together, and say, no more, man? We've had enough of this. Listen, this is ridiculous, man. Do you take orders for some chump? Would you sit there and let some chump dictate your life for you? Tell you how it's going to be, tell you what you're going to do? Because that's what's going on right now. None of these individuals that are up in these halls of Congress or whatever, and none of these people have anything more going on than any other person in America. There's nothing special about any one of those people at all, period, the end. Nothing special. There is not a single voice that comes through this noise that makes any sense whatsoever. There's no leaders. Leaders don't say, get going, dude. They say, come on, let's go. That's a leader. Where's a leader? You see one? Is Trump that leader? People think he is.
Don't you be dishing on that, Trumpy.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean,
you got no backup, man. Epic isn't here.
Is he the guy?
Backup punked on you.
Dude, I don't need backup, dude. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? I mean, there is so much. I could sit here for the next 45 minutes rattling off stuff that would make you go,
So look, I will admit this to you, Jimmy. I still favor Trump. I hope he gets in 2024. But the decision is now.
But that's like saying
you got two rapists.
That's like saying
one is going to tie you up with cord rope, and the other is going to tie you up with barbed wire. Biden's the barbed wire, and Trump is the cord rope. And that's why I support Trump. There's my context.
Okay, well,
it's not much better.
But the thing is, saying
he's the leopard with the most fingers right now, Jimmy.
All right, I get you. But see, what you're saying, though, is the same as saying you support Robert De Niro or you support any other actor for president. Yeah. It's all a show, man. There is no what's running, who and what is running the show has nothing to do with these actors and these people that we see. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of those are the trigger mechanisms for whoever it is. Then, listen, no matter what happens, every time what happens is this.
They're Muppets, that's all.
Yeah. When Trump was in, they passed a whole bunch of shit that they could never pass if a Democrat was in there, because the Republicans wouldn't let it happen. You know what I mean? And it's vice versa. It's when a Democrat's in there, Republicans are going to be in there pushing all this stuff through that, the Democrats would never be able to let through. It's the same, it goes back and forth. No matter what happens, the critical path is followed, and, we get to where we're going no matter who's going to be up in there. They just have 50%, and, it's always 50%. Well, 49%, Rio. 49 to 47. He won, 51 to 49. Whoops, woo, he snuck by there. Whew. You know? The only time that didn't happen is when there was an overwhelming tide that was unstoppable. The Trump election, the first time. You think that was like the Hamas attack in Israel? Same thing. You know, it just came out of nowhere. Nobody knew it was going to happen. You know, it just came out of nowhere.
Realistically, Hillary did get more of the popular vote than Trump did.
See?
Trump only won on the electoral vote. But, you know.
Well, you got to get rid of that electoral vote. That's what we got to do. Right? Isn't that what happened?
That's what they're all calling for.
Yeah.
So that way New York and California can decide what's best for the rest of the country. Because those two states have more people than the entire rest of the country.
I don't know, man. California is ain't not what it used to be. That's for sure.
Neither is New York, man.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen.
Like it's the two of us are on opposite sides.
I know,
right? And we're both in the same quagmire.
Yeah, because we're under the same sort of similar governments. You know, we're under the same sort of democratic rule out here. It just makes me. That's the thing is that why this is what is irritating is there. Like I said, there is no leaders. There are no voices. Is Trump the only guy in the world? You know, you telling me there's nobody in this whole United States that couldn't step up to a microphone and make some sense? Only these same, suckers that keep showing
there's
up.
Probably a bunch of them that could.
Shit, you know what I mean?
Problem is they get taken out long before they get that far.
That's the problem. The problem is if you don't have money, you can't run. Why should the thing is there's a shitload of people who go viral on the internet. Why do you need money to run for president? Why couldn't you be a viral president candidate? Why couldn't you say and have something going on where you could be on YouTube and make it happen for yourself there? I mean, that's potentially possible at this point. You could do it that way. That's how people, like we were talking about rock musicians and people going outside the system and, making their own records and, doing that thing. It's the same kind of thing, isn't it? I mean, that might be a place where somebody, could come from. Someone might just crop up on it.
Generally, record companies don't take pot shots at the musicians because they figure they'll make a buck off them.
Well, another big problem, and I don't really talk about any of this too much because I don't have a problem with people whatever they do. It's not my place to judge others whatever they do. But there's a thing about being a brother in a brotherhood and an oath that you take. Because that oath supersedes anything else. So I got a problem with like, say, for example, I brought up Ron Paul. Let me bring this up again. Let's just say this. Ron Paul running for president. Ron Paul, Mason. Okay? Ron Paul, oath. Okay? He took an oath.
What do you mean Mason?
He's a Mason.
How do you know that, man? Stop talking crazy.
Anyways, he's a Mason. So
he's a good one then. He's a Manly P. Hall Mason.
He is. He's a good one. He's a good Mason. He's a good brother. And every good brother knows that when you give your word and you take an oath, that you mean what you say and say what you mean and do what you're going to say you're going to do. Okay? So when Ron Paul was in New Hampshire and they were doing they were going up and getting ready for the primaries, he won New Hampshire. And Black Box Voting had the evidence. They had the video of people stealing bags of votes. And homeboy laid down. He didn't say a word. He didn't do anything. And it's because they just say, look, man, you ain't going to be president. You're not president. You're not going to be president. That's it. Just, don't cause us any problems. We got two people over here, and we don't need any issues. Don't cause any problems. So, you know what, man? If you would have caused a problem back then, we probably wouldn't be in the situation we were in 4 years ago, man. The thing is we've talked about this, man. If you see evil and you don't do anything about it, that is the epitome of evil. If you see evil and don't do anything about it, you are evil.
Yep, it's sin of omission.
So I just wonder when are people going to say, Bruce, enough is enough? Because people are hurting and in pain right now, and the whole thing is manufactured and created. We're being herded down the chute, okay, to be butchered up and served up, man.
True that, Jimmy. I don't think anybody can argue with that. I mean, it's not just like a casual democide either. They're really enjoying this. I mean, there's something really psychotic at the top of the pyramid. And call it whatever you want, man. Energy harvesting, whatever. But they're liking this.
It's just the top of the pyramid is just pure evil, Bruce. That's all there is to it.
I don't think anything can be 100% pure. But yeah, we're getting into the high 90s here, percentile for sure. Real, for sure, man, for sure. And but they're just enjoying this, man. Like the smug look on Trudeau's face as Canada just gets flushed down the toilet, man. It's what he was brought in to do. I mean, how could you look at what this guy's doing and not come to the conclusion that this is his unstated goal to destroy Canada, in line with whatever is coming when the World Economic Forum takes over, owning nothing, never having been happier, whatever. However they're going to do that, man.
Well, don't forget that little Justin went through the leadership training of Klaus Schwab. So
he did. Yeah. Got some music coming in there.
Schwab. Give me a
Schwaber.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's that's the thing is, if you don't show up, there's nothing anybody can do, right? So no one can make you do anything, can they? They're gonna beat you and whip you, and throw you in a jail, but they can't make you do something, can they? You can't make you work. You can't make you tote that
That's
bill.
a very excellent question, Jimmy. Can they make you do something? Well, if you stay independent on their system, fiat notes or central bank digital currency, they can make you do a lot, man. Or you're not going to eat, you're not going to drink water. They can make you do almost anything now. This system is so perfect. They have spent an entire century building this system up to this point, and it's been conscious.
I heard
this. I'm not even going to bother to reference like Albert Pike or any of that horse shit, which can't be proved.
Yeah, right.
But if you just look at it objectively, this is a plan, man. There's no way. Like you open up a box, dump 180 pieces on a table, and they all go together and form a picture. That's not a fucking coincidence. This is a plan.
It's right? I heard Pastor Butch Paul say something today. You know what he said? He said, take a $50 bill and go buy a bag of groceries and see how much you get. And take a $50 gold piece and go down and buy yourself some groceries and see how much you get. So $50 gold piece is probably worth about a couple grand, wouldn't you say? And your $50 bill is barely buying some white bread, some bologna, mustard, and a bag of Lay's potato chips.
But they knew this when they brought the system in, and at the very least they knew it. So if you want to look at it this way, we can say that we won the Cold War, but not really, because we had to unpeg our currency in 1972 to do it. Okay, we had to take it off. We had to destroy any correlation between real value and the paper, and with the excess paper, we did Star Wars and all this crazy shit, and we built we beat the Soviet Union, but we didn't really beat them because our system is collapsing now. It's just completely collapsing.
No, we talked about that. We said when the wall came down, it wasn't that communism had ended. It was that now the whole world was going to be like communism. The whole world was going to be like the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
You know, there was no. Go ahead.
We didn't let them out; they let us in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactamundo. Yeah. And what happened? Where'd the Stasi go? Where'd the Stasi go? Where'd they go? They came to America. It's called Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah.
Okay, and now
I'm telling you, Jimmy and Rio, you cannot convince me the Nazis are not alive and well, and they have begun to announce themselves big time I would say They broke cover when COVID started.
Have you ever
now
heard...
you're seeing Nazis everywhere. You just out of the corner of your eye, like the silver belly of a fish breaking the water on a calm lake just at sunset. Did I really see? Was that a fish? Oh yeah. I can't definitely say I saw the fish, but I see the waves moving out on the calm lake. Something broke the surface to the water, and that's the Nazis now. And I see it in Klaus Schwab. Canada's gone Nazi, man.
The Fourth Reich is alive and well, man.
And well. This Antarctica shit is probably all true, but beyond that, they seem to have infiltrated our financial system, right?
Have you ever heard of Dave Emery?
The name sounds familiar. Refresh my memory.
Yeah, Dave Emery does some good stuff, man.
Dave Emery is one of the premier broadcasters of all time. And he's on public radio. I think it's WPLK. Is that it? Rock and Rio?
After Johnny Fever?
Yeah, Johnny Fever.
No, he's syndicated. He's on a bunch of stations.
So I used to listen to him on, I'm pretty sure it was WPLK is what I listened to him on. I used to listen to him every show for a long time. And basically, Bruce, he tracks World War II and basically has proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that all the so-called Nazis after World War II, they dispensed out throughout the world and took the money that the Nazis had and bought up all the publishing houses. They bought up all this and that and gained total control of the mass media through these monies. And Rock and Rio, what do you think about Dave? You check him out, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard of Dave Emery.
Oh, he's brilliant. I mean, I've been listening to him for years. He was even back when Bush was president, he was showing the Bush family connections not only to the Bin Laden family, but to Martin Bormann and some of the actual high-ranking Nazis. Prescott Bush was business partners with some of them, and there were some very close family ties between the Bushes and the Third Reich.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's into the microcosm Friday night, freeworld.fm, revolution.radio, and the independent broadcast network. Into the microcosm of Jimmy Jean on YouTube. We got 70 some odd people in the chat room over there. Come on over, check it out. Revolution Radio is fully listener supported. Become a supporter. Come on down, revolution.radio. Come on over to the top of the page. You'll see the Patreon links. There's also a Zazzle store there and a lot of stuff going on. 48 hours a day, 7 days a week. Studio A, Studio B, the house that Nighthawk built. Revolution Radio, 13 years and it's going strong. Freeworld.fm, independent broadcast network. We'll be right back.
Go to his head and his wife's aggravation. You're soon enough dead. It's the same old story, same old song and dance, my friend. That's the same old story, same old song and dance, my friend. Got you with the cocaine, found with your gun. No smooth face and all you to get you undone. Full of people just living to be heard.
Yeah, that's the way America used to be. It's revolution.radio, freedomslips.com. Come on down, become a supporter. We'll be right back.
Sometimes question my own behavior. Check it out. Talking about the girls I'm seeing on the slide. So tell our souls we're still the young lions. So check it out. Too drunk on Saturday. Check it out. Left with all the kids on Sundays. Check it out. Song with the Eagles all week long. And this is all that we. I used to be lonely till I learned about living alone. I found other things to keep my mind
Listen to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
Hey everyone, it's Barbara Jean Lindsay, the Cosmic Oracle. If you have questions about your past lives or future plans, need answers from the cosmos about your love life or career, or just want to keep your finger on the pulse of the planet, check out my show, The Cosmic Oracle, here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com.
Did you ever feel that things were not quite right? That everything was just ever so slightly askew?
Do you have, to paraphrase Morpheus, a splinter in your mind?
If you're interested in hearing the latest information about UFOs, the paranormal,
ancient cultures and structures,
monatomic elements,
longevity,
fantastic discoveries in science,
downloaded to your brain,
then tune into us. Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Mackie.
And we are Shiny Side Out, Sundays 2 to 4 a.m. Eastern. See you then.
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
The Secret Kindergarten is here for the young children of the world. The best program on the radio for kids. Dealing with the most important topics in the whole universe. Fairy tales, music, movement, numbers, plants, animals, fun, colors, insects. Take care and cast your ears out to catch a story from the world of other young things. Reach out, up, under, and over. Sing a song. Talk about feelings. Just remember the magic word. The magic word is no. Step on into the Secret Kindergarten. Saturdays, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Right here on Revolution Radio.
Check in every Thursday night for the Crypt Rick and Jonathan Show. Studio A, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right here at the #1 listener-supported radio station, Revolution Radio.
Join me at Revolution Radio, Studio B, at 11 a.m. on Saturday for Free Association, when we take a look at philosophy, spirituality, psychology, social issues, and geopolitics. It's every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern on Studio B at freedomslips.com.
I want to thank everybody for listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the one place where information never sleeps. Revolution Radio.
All right, let's show them what we got here.
All right, thanks for listening while we took that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And yeah, we're going to get back to your host.
It's Friday night.
Love is like a bomb, baby, come and get it on. Living like a lover with a red iPhone. Looking like a tramp, like a video vamp. Demolition woman, can I be your man? Your man. Razzling and dazzling, a flashy little light. Television lover, baby, go all night. Sometime, anytime, sugar me sweet. Little miss innocent, sugar me, yeah. Yeah. Take a bottle, shake it up, break the bubble, break it up. Pour some sugar on me, in the name of love. Pour some sugar on me, come on and fire me up. Pour your sugar on me, I can't get enough.
Damn. Dudes just showed up. Decided to play a song. There they go. Def Leppard. And you know, they're actually coming to San Francisco this August. It's going to be Def Leppard, Steve Miller, and Journey. But I think Journey is in the middle, and Steve Miller's the opener. Man, I don't know. I don't know.
Suddenly, Boston's More Than a Feeling pops into mind to me. I don't know why. Just popped in there.
I don't know. I never really got into Boston myself. I used to always change the channel on the radio whenever it came on. I'd change the channel immediately. I hated Boston. For some reason. I'm not sure why. I think it was because there was something unnatural about that music. Wasn't it totally produced, Rio? I mean, were they ever live? I think they got busted with a reel-to-reel once, didn't they? I can't remember what it was. There's always some scandal going on. But the thing is, you used to be able to just sit around, tune your radio in, and you listen to a radio station. They were all fighting for your attention.
Nah, they played live, man. They're the real deal.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Did you research? Did you research them on the same day you researched the black president of the United States?
Yeah. I put a picture of the white guy that was actually president.
Oh my god!
No, seriously though. He
got you real good.
We used to drive Rio. Didn't we used to just drive? Listen. You used to drive around, ladies and gentlemen, and the shit was free. You could just tune it in on your radio. You had an AM dial, and then eventually there was the FM dial. There's an FM radio where you used to no commercials. Remember that, Rio? That's why you used to listen to FM. It was like
same thing with cable TV, too, right?
Exactly.
No commercials. But you paid for it.
You're smelling what I'm cooking. It's funny that you should bring up TV because there's a similar situation going on now. Do you guys realize they're contemplating taking AM radio out of new cars? You understand that? You realize that?
It's not that they're contemplating it. Some of the companies already have.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because
AM rules, man.
Because everybody's on Bluetooth now, Bruce. We don't need AM anymore.
Everybody's in Bluetooth, Bruce. And so what's that going to do? Let's say you own a AM radio station, okay? You got a giant whole facility there. You're pumping 50,000 watts. You know, you're a blowtorch blowing halfway across the United States, as Art Bell used to say. What's going to happen?
So actually, John Katzmatidis, who owns 77 WABC in New York, which is one of the largest AM stations in the country, is
spearheading.
Spearheading, yes, that's the word I'm looking for. The fight to force car manufacturers to put AM radio back in their cars because of emergency broadcast and such things. That AM is, required because it's the only way it'll get out if there's a disruption.
Yeah.
People don't realize that, but
no.
AM in all its staticky glory is actually the best way to transmit for long distances and through noisy situations.
No, I buy that.
Uh-huh. Let me just say, pass me the taters. What are you going to do without AM radio? Where is the majority of talk radio happening? You think they're just blowing it out because, nobody listens to talk radio anymore. No, we don't need AM radios in here. Nobody's listening to AM radio. No, well, guess what? That's where all the talking's going on. You know, and most of that talking, most of it on the air is conservative talk. All the biggest shows that people listen to in their cars, their trucks, so on and so forth, while they're working, slaving to the grind, while they're churning it out, putting their nose to the grindstone. They're listening. They're coming and becoming informed. They're hearing people. They don't want that shit, man. We need to turn that off. Turn it off, man. Bruce, God damn it. Turn it off, I said.
Ayo.
Because, listen, you got Starlink now? Well, guess what?
Yeah,
now
man.
you're going to have a Starlink link in your car. And then you can just listen to anything you want. But thing is what the difference is it used to come over your antenna and come out of your speakers. It was free.
Yeah.
It was free. And so was UHF and VHF. Remember that? Remember TV? Remember you used to have the UHF and the VHF? And then eventually the UHF went away?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they leased out that airspace. They leased out those frequencies, man. They're using those frequencies for something else. To the point where they're even sold the white space between the channels.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So Rio, when they say, "Oh, we don't need the AM stations no more," just get rid of this. What are they going to do? They're going to sell off those frequencies. They're going to sell off that bandwidth, and they're going to do the same thing.
It's not even that they're looking to sell off the bandwidth. It's that car manufacturers such as Tesla don't want to spend the extra 12 cents to put the chip in the radio that is required to receive AM. It's 12 cents.
It's bullshit.
That's how much it costs to build an AM radio nowadays.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
It ain't so.
It's bullshit because what they want to do, look at the Telecommunications Act that Bill Clinton spearheaded. That's when they sold the people's airwaves away. You know how much airwaves are worth? Do you know how much money you'd make if you owned the frequency that one of these cell carriers is on? And they had to pay you? Well, who's paying the people? That's the question. The question is, the people's airwaves belong to the people. And the Telecommunications Act came along and doled those airwaves out for sale. And those people are making money hand over fist, and they have been. Where's our money? Where's our, look at, hey, when states like, there's states like, say, Alaska, because they make some money off that oil, that they give their citizens of Alaska, they give them some money. They get a check. They don't pay tax. They're not paying state taxes over there. They're doling the money back to the people. They're giving them something at least. Where's our airwave money, Rio? Where is it? What's 1996?
Well, you get 40 free channels on Citizen Band Radio.
40 free channels? Listen, I'm literally old enough to remember when cable TV had no commercials on it, and the whole reason you paid for it was because there were no commercials.
That's right.
There was no advertising.
That was the whole point of paying for it, was you were paying the commercial time.
Mm-hmm. It's like paying to get your money out of the bank. $3.50, $5. You know, you want to buy a pack of smokes down by the beach, you better have cash, because they don't take cards. And you know, when you go to the ATM, they got a $5 nick on there. So now it's $25 you're taking out of the thing. You know what I mean? They charge us to take our money out to spend it.
Yeah.
How does that work? I mean, so now all of a sudden I'm paying for shit that I used to get for free. You know, I used to be able to just turn my radio in and listen to FM in my, you know, 67 Camaro driving down the street. You know, there was no commercials, man. Real. I was listening to it. It was going on and on and on. And then some dude, come on, yeah, that was Robin Trower doing Bridge of Sighs. You know.
Hey, man.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I just want to do a little tech detour here. Things pop into my head when I know Rio's online. So here's my question.
Do you just want to throw a quick red herring in there before we can move on? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Somebody's got
Rio,
to do it. Epic's not here.
Like how big an advancement are these M chips in Macs, like the M1 and the M2? Because all the new computers are coming out with only 8 gigabyte RAM. And just before they went to the M class of chip, the thing they were doing was bumping up RAM. So a really good Mac was like 32 gig RAM, i7 or an i9 chip MacBook Pro in 2019, right? Just before the M1.
This is the shit that's going through Bruce's mind when we're doing a show. We're doing a show.
That's why I'm asking, because I've done my research, but nobody will answer the question clearly. Like, so would an M1 chip with 8 gigabyte RAM outperform an i7 with 32 gigabyte RAM?
Technically, in some ways, yes. In some ways, no. So the whole thing with the lesser RAM is because it has a much higher bandwidth, because the travel distance between the core of the processor, the actual computational cores, and the memory cores is infinitely small. Whereas on a standard system, it has to go outside the chip, down the motherboard, across on a bus, back up into the chip, gets resorted and whatever. So effectively, the lane, it's got to do with the lanes, how many lanes there are to each chip. So the higher speed you want to go on the memory on a standard system, you need more and more lanes to be able to put through the same amount of data, which is it's a slower method. So an 8 gigabyte on like an M2 chip would be roughly equivalent to somewhere between 12 and 16 on like an i7 or an i9, because of the amount of bandwidth and the time it takes to actually move the information back and forth, because RAM is constantly swapping in and out information.
Yeah.
So instead of using a multiple 2-lane highways, it's using one 16-lane highway.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, man.
You get the idea?
Listen up. This has been the Tech Night Owl with Bruce McDonald and Rock and Rio. Luckily for both of you, I still remember what we were talking about, and that is free airwaves. And, the fact that they're taking this away from people just, inadvertently. It's not that you can't have AM radio. It's just that, you're just going to have to pay for it if you want to put it in your car. And then when you do, who's still going to be there broadcasting? Because, how many actual broadcasting companies are there? What is there? Premier? And that's it. Premier owns just about everything, don't they? They own just about every station.
Radio One, right?
So, yeah, so what are these guys going to do? If they're constantly, if it's a corporation and they're in it to make money, and they have this our actual broadcast stations going to become like these commercial buildings across America that are being vacated because there's no reason to be there anymore? There's no reason to have a radio station and a tower anymore, is there, real? Because you got Starlink coming down, beaming down at you from the sky. You don't need it anymore. Yeah. So now that means you can listen to what? The shit you have to pay for. Apple Music, Spotify, all these services where they're nicking you here and there. $3 here, $5 there, $3, $5, $7, $9, $10 a month. Boom, 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 boom. All of a sudden, all the shit you like is costing you an unbelievable amount of money. Because that's, ultimately what they want to do, right? Isn't that Internet 2? Isn't that the idea in the future?
Well, no, the idea is a subscription model for everything.
That's right? What I mean.
You even see it in cars.
That's what I'm saying.
BMW charges you a monthly fee for having your heated seats work. Not that the heated seats aren't in the car, but you have to pay a subscription fee to keep them working. And your heated steering wheel, and Tesla does stuff like that too.
And that's the model for the future internet, right? So whoever your internet provider is, whatever companies they're signed up with, is the shows that you get to see on that. So if you want to watch,
that's kind of how it is now,
right?
I have, for example, Optimum is my internet provider, so I have a package where my Optimum TV is cheaper because I have Optimum Internet as well, and I'm allowed a certain range of channels to watch for what I pay. I only have basic stuff. But, there's issues with that, too, because I actually get more channels from the Spectrum account in Texas on my Apple TV than I get from Optimum, because Optimum doesn't work on my Apple TV. It works on my iPhone, but not on my Apple TV, because they want you to upgrade the modem, which is another $11 a month for the subscription, by the way. You see how that works?
Land of the free, home of the slave. That's America.
Right. I can get it for free on my phone, which is essentially the same device as the Apple TV without the screen. But I can't watch it on the Apple TV because there's a different device identifier. Same chip, same circuitry, same operating system. But they want me to pay the extra $11 a month to have their all-in-one modem to be able to access it. The regular cable box and the cable modem that I have are not good enough.
So it's $5 or $3.50 to take your money out of the bank. That's what I mean. You're going to be, we're being nickeled and dimed to death, literally. Really, that was a stark realization when that dude said, get a $50 bill and go buy some groceries. And then just take a $50 gold piece and go buy some groceries and see how much groceries you get with either one.
What does that mean, Jimmy? A $50 gold piece? When was that minted?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's the weight of it that matters. A $50
I see. Okay,
gold piece right now, an ounce of gold is, what is it? Real? Yeah. It's like $2,000, something like that.
It's close to $3,000.
Yeah.
Close to $3,000.
Oh my God! Yeah. Okay.
So what I'm just saying, a $50. That's what I mean. I'm telling you, Bruce. This is such bullshit. I see this thing. Unemployment's down 3.9%. It's been down for so many consecutive months, like inferring that there's some sort of economic boom going on because the Biden administration is in there. They said inflation is down to 3.9%. Who's the 3.9% inflation down for? How did they figure that? Who's the inflation is down 3.9%?
All I know is that when I go to the grocery store every 2 weeks, my $100 used to buy me 4 bags of groceries.
Yeah. Now
I spend $150 on 2 bags of groceries.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And you know what? Listen, I used to like to go to the grocery store, and I'd get these morning rolls. Okay, I'm not going to mention the name of the company. But they're everywhere. In any grocery store you go into, they have these things. There used to be like a package of 8. You just get them, and they're just dripping with the shit you love, cinnamon bun or whatever. You just put it in the oven. Man, these things were tender and just moist. Okay? I went down there the other day to buy some. They used to be $3.50 for that batch, that 8 of them. $3.50 for 8 of these. I go down there. $7.95 for the same exact package. Now, listen, this is the heartbreaker. At that point, I had been thinking about them and I wanted them, so I said, you know what, man, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna pay $8 for these things because I gotta have one now. I pay the $8. I get them home. I open the thing up. They're like literally, it's 8 of them, but 8 of half the size that they used to be. So it's like I paid twice as much for half as much.
So there's this place that I go to when I go to Texas that has these excellent brisket tacos, right? They're good size. Absolutely delicious. They were a little, I always considered them a little on the pricey side at $9 for 2 tacos, but they were good. They were really good. I went back a couple of weeks ago for Thanksgiving. Those same 2 tacos are now $16.50. I couldn't do it. I could not go for the $16.50 for 2 tacos.
So this is how they do it. This is how they bring about the Great Reset. They make the system we're living in so unlivable that people are begging for something new. This is how they do it. And you know what? None of these problems that they're presenting us with are childishly simple. Cut out the middleman. Negotiate debt jubilees between nations. China, United States, sit down. You owe us this. We owe you this. Let's wipe. The reason you can't do that anymore, you can't do it now, is because there's this middle entity in the middle, the IMF, the World Bank, and all of these middle players in this globalist game that are basically another level of taxation. That's all interest is now at the level of central banking. It's another level. It's global taxation is what it is. So it's taxation for the globalization fund. It's easy peasy to fix. You just go to a commodities-based currency, commodities plus productivity. It would all be over in like a year. We could repair every problem on the planet. We just simply do not have the political will to do it because they're moving in another direction. This is a manufactured crisis. This is a manufactured catastrophe. And anybody who tells you otherwise is just an idiot. They don't know what they're talking about.
Like I was saying about the gun manufacturers, you can buy up food manufacturing companies too and stop manufacturing food. You could buy up the biggest companies that make all the biggest products and stop making it just to cause shortages.
Well, Unilever and ConAgra own like 90% of the food industry now.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Listen, this whole thing is manufactured, just like you're saying, Bruce. I mean, there's no mention of anybody getting any better for any reason. And
and the effeminization of men has prevented a rebellion. Seriously, that's why they got everybody sucking each other's cock. It is so that you don't get any Spartans. Everybody's an Athenian now. There's no more Spartans.
Too many plastic bottles.
Yeah. Gay frogs. If anybody tells you Alex Jones is an idiot, just punch them in the face. That dude was pretty much dead on about everything. He's been the town crier, the unofficial town crier for 2 decades now.
Bruce.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I still don't like Alex Jones.
The thing is,
I don't like him either. He's in that Trump category. He's, like Bane and Batman. He's the necessary evil.
The thing is, though, the thing is, though, irrespective of how he was right or if he was right, the point is that he's served a specific purpose, and that purpose has been served. Obviously, he's still here after everything that's happened, over the past period of time. I mean, there's been some landmark things going on surrounding him and his operation over there. I mean, first of all, just look into Palantir and see who they are, or InQ or InQtel. You can look at them, and the thing about it is that you hear a lot of talk in the alternative media about shills, and it's not necessarily that people are even doing it on purpose. In other words, you could be a man with a mission, doing something, and whatever you're doing can be used and used to manipulate others. You think you're being successful somehow, like you do a money bomb and you get $1 million or whatever, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden you got all this equipment and you got this big thing going on, and all of a sudden you turned into this big thing. And look, Alex Jones was right. That's what you're saying. And he just did an interview with Tucker. I mean, the thing is that he is the person out there that forged what we know today. But before him, there was other people that most people haven't even heard of. Like I saw someone in the chat earlier talking about Bill Cooper. There's a whole controversy around Bill Cooper and Alex Jones. Bill Cooper hated Alex Jones. Bill Cooper thought Alex Jones. I think there was even I might be able to find it at the top of the. But
just for everybody's information, some absolute genius put the entire Mystery Babylon series up on Spotify. You can listen to it in sequence. It is, I have to admit, it is one of the most intricate oral stories I've ever heard in my life.
It's unbelievable.
It's like 60 hours. He doesn't contradict himself once.
It's an unbelievable.
Well, that's because he's stating facts and telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a William. There's part of that is called the William Morgan interview, and there's a guy that proposes that he was a 33-degree Mason, and he went through everything, and he sits down with him and he talks to him about everything, tells him, he basically reveals everything that he's never supposed to reveal. And then it was interesting because I'd listened to that years before, and then later on, there was a guy called Freeman, and he's done a lot of really important work, in the alternative media. And there, all of a sudden, around this Freeman dude and around his show, this dude showed up on the scene in the alternative media. His name was Freighter X.
Yes, yeah.
His voice. Now, if you go back and you listen to that Bill Cooper, the fake name JP Morgan, or what, I forget the guy's name, something. Anyways, the part of the series where it's got 2 parts and he's interviewing this Mason. I can't remember the guy's name. I have to go look at it. But that same voice is Freighter X. Later on, he became the I'm a Mason, don't hate us spokesperson type of thing. He just showed up all of a sudden on the scene, and before he showed up, pretty much anybody who said they were or even inferred that they didn't have a problem with Masons at that point was out of control. Nobody would say anything. Because everybody at that point, because of Bill Cooper's broadcasts and Alex Jones and all these people, because of that, there became this specific idea around Masonic traditions and being in brotherhoods, and it took on a whole new meaning. You know what I mean? Because there's an aspect of it and to it that gets looked at over time. Obviously, George Washington was obviously a Mason, so hey, he was a founding father. He found that. Okay. Rock and Rio. So Bill Cooper did this. I'm pretty sure it was Morgan was the name of the guy, that it was his fake name. And I'm pretty sure that but Bill Cooper was one of the greats, and so there was a lot of controversy around Bill Cooper and Alex Jones, because Alex Jones really rose out of the ashes of Bill Cooper. And Bill Cooper was really Alex Jones before Alex Jones was, right? So, and Bill Cooper was out there doing it, on his shortwave, and he was out in Arizona and this and that and the other thing. Died in a hail of bullets, running to his porch from his truck.
So, Jimmy.
And so
crawling to his truck.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, he said, literally, he did an interview. He did a show with Alex Jones, and he was on the show. And on the show, he later on, Alex Jones, like, he said he was a drunk and he was drunk on the show and all this shit. And so it really inflamed Bill Cooper. But before Bill Cooper got inflamed and hated him, he was on Alex Jones's show once. And he literally said on that show, because I listened to it, he literally said, I'm going to die in a hail of bullets on my porch. And he literally did. And then out of that, I mean, he was the one, like I say, he was the guy out there where there was no trail. Bill Cooper was blazing a trail with the information that he was putting out there. Then all of a sudden, boom, he's gone. Here comes Alex Jones.
Yeah. So what are you saying, man?
What I'm saying is
spread the butter.
If I'm
I see the butter, I see the bread, but put the butter on the bread.
Okay, well, so if I'm sitting here and I am somebody who wants to influence people, and I see some organic thing that happens, okay, what I want to do is I want to get ahead of that, and I see that it's popular. So what I want to do is I want to have a controlled person in that position, and I want to eliminate the originator. And I'm going to take it over with my perpetrator.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even matter. Like I say, he doesn't even have to know that that's going on. It's just that because he happened to be in the right place at the right time. Bill Cooper died. He happened to be in the right place at the right time. Well, certain things happened in the background that made things possible for him to do certain shit. And all of a sudden, one thing leads to another. And all of a sudden, this happens and that happens. And all of a sudden, blah, 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 blah. It's not like an American dream, you know?
Yeah.
Shit doesn't just happen to you. Nobody, you know, anybody who got somewhere in their life, every one of us who gets somewhere in our life gets there because somebody does us a solid or there's no magic, thing that happens. You know, somebody does something for you and something happens as a result of that. And that's what happens. You know, you don't have anything to do with it. You know, it's like that show. Yeah. It's like that show where the guy walks up and gives you $1 million. You know, he just knocks on the door. Hey, hey, Bill, how's it going there, Bruce? Yeah, I just want you to sign this. You know, it's $1 million. You know what I mean? And then what happens to you once you get the $1 million?
Yeah. So I had another thought, and my thought was that. One of the reasons that they tolerate someone like Alex Jones, and they do tolerate him because, I mean, they can kill anyone anytime, right? But one of the reasons they do tolerate him is he fulfills a certain disclosure agenda that mitigates part of their liability. You know, this idea that, well, we told God, we told Source what we were going to do, we told them, we gave them an opportunity to dissent, they did not, we presumed consent. This is a very powerful mechanism in our reality.
But
and Alex Jones, nobody can say they were not told. This goes back to what I said 30 minutes ago about being more frustrated with the morons in the middle now than the people at the Mother of Darkness Castle in Belgium doing the rituals. Okay, they're going to do what they're going to do, and they're accountable to the Creator for their actions. It's all these people in the middle. These are the ones that are the problem.
Listen,
now.
Man, it's like normalizing shit. It's been normalized now. It's the stuff that Alex Jones used to talk about that was so shocking. It's all been normalized now. It's not shocking enough. The shit's not. It's not shocking enough anymore. It has to keep continuing to be more and more shocking. But the thing is, man, is like I say, it's a. Even if he has no idea, it doesn't matter because the people that are using him as a psychological operation, it's a steam valve, man. Thing is, man, when you watch Alex Jones get all red and get his head all puffed up and, you know, his eyeballs are bugging out, as it keeps you from going anywhere and doing anything because now you're getting your aggressions out through the visual of him, you know, getting all excited. You know, you don't get out and get all excited and go do something, go down and talk to your, you know, locals, you know, congressman. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Listen, it's all a matter of a projection of whatever it is you want to put yourself through. You know, you're right. He has brought a lot of stuff to the table, and he is a good businessman. And he has I mean, it's not to say that he hasn't had help to get to where he is, man. That's all I'm saying. There's no it's not like an American dream story. Everybody, I mean, I remember those money bombs, man. You know?
People in the know say he's ruthless as a businessman. Ruthless.
Dude.
Most good businessmen are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to be. That's how they make their money.
Well.
Yeah, so I mean, the thing is, you can say, well, you know, hey, he has to be ruthless. You know, it's business.
Except GB as little children real.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, right?
Okay, so if let's just say, if that holds true, then across the board, if that holds true, then you'd have to say that would you say that somebody who's a billionaire would have to be super, super ruthless? Like, they don't give a shit.
Psychotically ruthless. Like,
how much money does...
And they make no bones about it.
How much
it's
money
funny you should mention that. I just rewatched the George Soros 60 Minutes interview.
How much money does Trump have?
Trump's 10 billion, I guess, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Damn.
He's ruthless, too.
He's 10 times a ruthless motherfucker, isn't he, Bruce?
Yeah. Oh,
just think of all the old money millionaires, right? Like J.P. Morgan and... you know,
hey man, have you ever met
those top hat guys? They were all brutally ruthless.
Dude. Can you point to a billionaire who's not a communist?
Daniel Day-Lewis and There Will Be Blood. There's the portrait.
Is there one billionaire who's not a communist? Name one.
Well, I won't say his name, but I actually do know one.
You know a personal one.
Why would you not say his name?
He can't, because it's a personal contact.
Okay, all right.
Some people don't like their names being mentioned, Bruce.
Oh, man, I hear that.
Hey, speaking of names being mentioned, did your customers that ever come back from Antarctica?
Oh yeah, they're back.
Did they tell you what happened? You said you were going to...
I haven't spoken to them personally myself. The car did show up a couple weeks ago, though.
That's funny. That was funny, man. All right, well, listen, Bruce, are you ready?
Yeah, man.
You ready to give out that phone number? Hear from
Jimmy?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
All right, let's hear from...
Ready?
I'm always ready. What is it?
Are we gonna speak to the unwashed Bruce?
Wait, Jimmy, you're gonna let the unwashed call in? I'm enjoying it quite a bit in the mornings, actually. I've got some great callers.
Well,
Ken, I saw you in chat. Call in if you want. A great guy down in Texas, man. Originally from New Jersey, so he's got the whole American spectrum. 864-810-1039. 864-810-1039. Anonymous, do not call me. I had to uninstall Skype and reinstall it. I'm not going to get angry. Jimmy don't like that. Do not call me on that anonymous number, okay? It screws up Skype.
Who knows, man? Who knows?
NSA there, man.
Like I say, you may think...
Burr up old Bruce's ass.
Let's say you may think you're doing something good, you know, and you may think people are donating to your money bomb, but you know where'd that money bomb come from? You know, so you don't know.
Almost like the beginning to a Talking Head song. You may think you're doing something good. You may think.
It's all too much. What's that number, man? Give it out.
864-810-1039. Mm-hmm. We want to hear your ignorant opinions on everything.
Pass me the taters.
Including Alex Jones. And why, as somebody said in chat, he always marries Jewish princesses.
That's so you can go to Israel.
Israel.
All right, now. Looks like there's tensions, like I was saying, when this whole thing started. The only time we've talked about this, we told you.
Snagged one already, Jimmy, 805.
All right, 805, stand by. Stand by, 805. Stand by. We told everyone, as soon as this whole thing started in Israel with Gaza, we told everyone about the 1 trillion cubic feet of natural gas that exists right off Gaza. Now that's become a big talking point with a bunch of people. Oh, I'm in the know, blah, blah, blah. Well, listen, we also told you that there's a similar situation with a pipeline that was gonna go up through I can't think of the name of this pipeline. Reed, do you know the name of this gas pipeline? Anyways, the point is now there's further tensions going on with Lebanon and Syria. And there's potential inflammation of Hezbollah, which is not Hamas. It's not.
Do you know how wicked you have to be to upset flatbread people, Jimmy?
How?
You have to be pretty ruthless. They're pretty easygoing people, flatbread hummus people.
Well, listen, 805. Welcome into the microcosm.
805, you're live.
I hear crickets.
He's not on mute.
Are you there?
Something happened.
Now we
connecting the line from Mars.
Hello.
Hello.
805.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I was using a microphone. Hi. I had a comment to make about AJ, Alex Jones.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I used to listen to Oracle, and I think you said you listened to Oracle right back in the day.
Oh yeah, man! I listened to Oracle until they went off the air. That was a bad. To me, that was at one point that was probably one of the best alternative media platforms there was. Good.
Yeah. They used to make fun of AJ all the time. That's why. That's why I'm calling.
Yeah.
Mike Sledge, Lee Rogers, and especially Celtic Rebel.
Yeah.
One thing that cracked me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Rebel still does his show, man, on Sundays. He's still doing
he does.
it. Yeah,
he still does. But I want to say something funny because I remember every time he would, like, the Celtic Rebel would say, "Oh, hey, you guys got any hate mail, send it to Aaron at Infowars.com." And then I remember he said that I guess some people were emailing him, like listeners saying that they actually did that. So I just find it funny because they would really talk smack about AJ.
Oh man,
freaking hilarious!
That was hilarious. They used to do the imitation things too, huh? When it would sound like somebody was calling in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
But yeah, what else I wanted to say?
Those guys were funny, I mean, those dudes, man. A lot of that. I mean, do you know what happened to all that Lee Rogers and all that? That Lee Rogers dude.
Yeah,
he went like total white supremacist and all that. I mean, he went like
before. Oh, sorry for interrupting.
No, go ahead.
No, because I remember. Do you remember what the Celtic Rebel said? The theory. He said that he thinks allegedly that AJ bought out Oracle.
Yeah,
do you know that theory?
I believe that too, man. They were at that time. That was at a really powerful moment right then, because it was Oracle and it was American Freedom Radio, AFR, and it was Infowars, and AFR had a bunch of people on it. A lot of those people are still around. I mean, Truth Frequency Radio and Chris and Sharice Geo started on AFR, and they moved to Oracle, and then they went from Oracle. That's when they started TFR. But Oracle had Mark Passio, Christopher Everard was on there, Pete Santilli was on there. There was a bunch of Jack Blood was on there for a little while. You know, Jack Blood went to AFR after AJ, backstabbed him. And, AJ started, Jack Blood had a show on after AJ every day and was like that for years on GCN. And then all of a sudden AJ started going into overdrive and they blew out Jack Blood and then, gave him the cold shoulder. We did a show about it. We played the Jack Blood stuff, after it happened. He went on the air and talked about it, talked about the operation, talked about AJ. It's not anything I'm saying. I don't know the dude personally. I'm only sitting over here from the outside looking at it. You know what I mean? But I mean the bottom line is he went to court about something that is a very powerful moment for people in general, and that is that he said something on the air. It's because of something he said that whole court thing happened, and he lost. Where does that put everybody else? Where does that put podcasters or whatever? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Remember that dude Webster Griffin Tarpley? Remember that guy? He wrote.
Yeah, I heard what happened to him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Trump. Did you know Trump?
Yeah,
Trump sued him for what he said about his wife when he was running for president. But I mean, Webster Griffin Tarpley had written that book about Obama, you know, and as a matter of fact, Alex Jones actually, you know, used the Webster Griffin Tarpley book to use it to beat Obama with later on after Obama got to be president. But coming up to that election, he was saying that Hillary was going to be president, and he didn't think Obama was going to be president at all until, you know, he finally was, and then he came out with the Obama deception. You know what I mean? And that Obama deception leaned heavily on the Webster Griffin Tarpley information. But no, I mean, you know, man, we've been around for a long time around the alternative media. You know, we've seen them come, seen them go. You know, I was a listener to it way before I was ever a broadcaster. And like I said, you know, originally I wasn't planning on being a broadcaster. You know, I basically was a listener to the independent media, and I had information about my experience with wireless transmission and, you know, potential, you know, hazards to people's health. And so I was going around, you know, trying to share that information with people, you know, but I became, you know, aware after a period of time that people don't really care about any of it. In other words, it doesn't matter how much, or I tell people about it, or how much. I mean, this is way before there was 5G. You know, this is leading up into everybody being uptight about 5G. So, but the point is, Rio, nobody's gonna get rid of their phone. No one's gonna turn off their routers. No one's gonna do anything about that. So, I mean, really, there's really no point in just raking people over the coals about it, is there? I mean, it's gotten
to the point where it doesn't matter if you turn your phone off or you turn your router off. You know, in your privacy of your own home, you might get away with it, but the minute you step out into the supermarket or, you know, go to work, there's stuff's everywhere anyway. So, you know, telling people about it is, you know, more or less useless because the majority of people don't listen. So
it all adds up, man.
Yeah,
it goes back to what we were saying earlier. That it seems like every bit of frequency that exists has to be leased out to somebody or sold to someone. It's like everyone wants to be on a frequency somewhere. They want to take that AM radio frequency and they want to use it for something else, man. You can guarantee that. I mean, how many ways can you split up AM radio? You know what I mean? Rock and Reel, how many channels are there on AM?
Oh, there's a lot.
So if there's that many channels, are there that many channels that can be sold, a spectrum that can be sold out and leased?
It's 10 hertz per channel. So,
well, there you go. There you go. Well, is it only specific to a certain area, or does it rock on, you know, and with repeaters?
Well, the thing is that AM radio and specifically sideband and shortwave, you know, is worldwide. It's still used in Europe. It's still used in South America. So it carries such a distance that there's only so much they can actually slice it up before they start interfering with other people. So that's why, like, you know, if you're a CB radio guy, you're limited to 5 watts. Ham radio operators can, you know, run up to 200 watts in that range, you know, in the 2 meter bands. But you know, an FM broadcast is 50,000 watts, and it only goes for, you know, 20, 30 miles around the antenna. So, you know, 5 watts, I can talk halfway around the world, or 50,000 watts to go, you know, less than 100 miles on a good day. So that's, you know, AM radio is actually way more efficient. And
it's free.
The reason they want to take it over is because it's so efficient. They want to use it for operational purposes as opposed to broadcasting purposes.
Oh man, it is all too much, dude. I'm telling you, the next thing will happen after that will be FM. Why do you, if you don't need AM, why do you need FM? Seriously.
Excellent question.
Well,
Just get rid of it all.
The difference is FM can be digitized, so FM broadcast is very narrow band.
That's what I mean. Why even have it though? I mean, why not just have it coming over the internet?
Why not just do it 100% digital?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Why is it being over the air? No more over the air. Over the air is only for commercial use from now on. That's what I mean.
That they're doing away with. Even television now is going 100% digital.
That's what I'm saying. That's what happened. No, okay. Well, we're getting rid of the UHF now. Oh, but we're getting rid of we're going digital. We're getting rid of you're getting rid of your antennas. No free shit on your roof. No antennas. You know what I mean? You can't just put Bruce, if you just got a satellite dish and put it up and shot it up at the sky, do you think you could just pick up some Starlink?
No.
Rio, can you jack Starlink from your house with one of your devices? Can you just go outside and just point it up there?
I can't receive it, but I could probably screw up the neighbors.
You could jam it, but you couldn't use it. I mean, you can.
I mean, back in the day, my radio, when I had my car, my parents would know when I was coming home because they could hear me talking on the way and on the television. So I got in trouble for that. But, you know.
Man, oh man. All right, well, hey, it's revolution.radio. It's freeworld.fm. It is the independent broadcast network. My name is Jimmy. It's into the microcosm. It's Friday night. We're getting into some topics. 805, are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, I was trying to get the Rebel to come on a long time ago, and then I'd go in the chat, and he'd say, send me an email, and then I'd send him an email, and then, time would go by, and I'd just forget all about it, this type of thing. And then I'd remember, and I'd go back, and years went by. So it's been years since the years went by that I asked him to come on. But I wish he would though, because he was a pioneer, in exposing the gay agenda back then. You know what I mean?
What was that documentary? It's called "Don't Go West."
Yeah.
It's actually still up on Vimeo if anyone wants to check it out.
Oh, it is on Vimeo.
Yeah. Yeah, Vimeo. I think that's what it is.
Badass.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember some other funny thing. Can I say something else funny about AJ?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you remember when he allegedly snuck into Bohemian Grove?
Yeah.
I forget when, 1990 something.
Yeah.
Well, that's like his biggest claim to fame.
Yeah. I think it was the Celtic Rebel or somebody else. I can't remember. They said that was weird because supposedly Bohemian Grove is filled with old people, right? Old billionaires. But then AJ over here is like what? He was in his early 30s at the time.
Yeah.
So he would have stood out with a sore thumb, wouldn't he?
Well, not if he snuck in with the rest of the gay prostitutes without a shirt on, because he was back then. Yeah. He was ripped back then. You ever seen pictures of him?
Yeah, I've seen those pictures.
Seriously, man, he used to go to the gym. That dude. I mean, he might go to the gym now, but you know what I mean. Anyways, Bruce McDonald, we got any more people? Why don't you throw out that number? Stay there, 805. Throw out the number, Bruce McDonald.
Okay.
864-810-1039. 864-810-1039. Call in, man.
I'm trying to find this. There was this Bill Cooper, and he was, for some reason, he was doing a thing where he was doing a mock award ceremony, and he was talking total shit about Alex Jones the whole time. I'm trying to find it. I can't find it right now. It's going to take a few minutes, and I can't do it. Talk to you, get ready for the break, so on and so forth, all at the same time. It's consuming. But the point is that in this mock, I don't know what he was doing or why he was doing it, But he's saying, here comes Alec. He goes, and the winner is, I don't know the award. I can't remember. He made some sarcastic award. And he goes, and the winner is Alex Jones. And then there's like a, and he goes, here he comes. He's coming down to get his award. He's in a pink dress. And he's wearing pumps. And all this shit. And like he was making these, he was really being, kind of sarcastic in a way that, you know, later on people made accusations, you know, years later. And I just thought it was funny because guess you had to be there, Bruce. Guess you had to be there. I don't know.
I reckon.
Rockin' Rio. Did you feed the dogs?
Who let the dogs out?
I don't know. Make sure you feed them dogs. 82. What's that number again?
864-810-1039.
I have short-term memory loss on Friday nights. But I do live in California. So, Bruce, are you growing cannabis on the mountain?
No, I'm still buying my plants from my nephew. But I gave up smoking a couple years ago, 2.5 years ago. I really didn't smoke what you'd call regular.
No.
You know, but I do an oil now, and it helps me with long fasting. It also cleans out my cells and cleans my blood. So I use it pretty much. But you get stoned as a monkey, man, on that THC oil. It's just like it's insane, dude. You know, you can't have anything to do for 2 weeks except Netflix and maybe, you know, a little bit of qigong.
Well, damn. Sounds like a retreat.
And you shit the bed too.
When your mouth is getting dry, you know you're plenty high.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wait, Bruce, you do long fasting?
I do, yeah. I can fast anywhere from 2 weeks to a month at times, yeah.
Oh, damn. The most I've done is 3 days. That's like...
Well, you get used to it, but you got to be at home, right? Like, you can't be leaving the house.
Hey.
Yes, and, yeah. It's, I
you
love,
fall down the
I
stairs
love
on the way
fasting,
out if
man.
you're that high.
Yeah, I love fasting. I love it. Truth is, after about 3 days, you get so used to that oil. It's like your new normal.
Did you
like
know?
You don't even know. You forget you're high.
Did you know Bill Cooper only had one leg?
I knew.
Did you know he was?
I didn't know why.
Well, he was running. Yeah, think about it. He was running away on his one leg with his .38, running, shooting behind his back as he was running to his house to protect himself. And he died in a hail of bullets on his porch, just like he predicted he would. Man, it's almost like a storyline, huh?
Yeah.
I the thing was, I couldn't believe it when because all those years I never knew he had one leg. And then the day that I found out about it, I was just, it was bad enough how he died, but then the fact that he was like, you know, running away on his plastic leg, it's just, you know, it's a heartbreaker, man.
Dude went out like a Viking, man.
All right, top of the hour. We'll see you in a couple minutes. It's the end of the microcosm.
Clouds, one by one, fill the sky. Just like these tears that fill my eyes. Well, I know by now she ain't coming back. And I watch my world slowly fade to black. Look out my window, and it's still raining. Say, look out my window, it's still raining. Well, they said that time
330 call back.
well, I know the pain, honey, love can bring. It don't get no better used to hang out down at Jack's Pool Hall. You go down there and don't do nothing at all. You wanted to play some cards, there was a game in the back. If you wanted a shot of something, you went out to Jack. If you had a little money, you was a grade A fool. There was a guy down there who used to shoot a little pool. Rack 'em up, rack 'em up, rack 'em up, rack 'em up. Till the day he was dead, that all they ever said was rack 'em up. He didn't own a TV set, he didn't own no car. He ate whatever Jack was making back behind the bar. They said he had a wife, but she left him in tears. He hadn't been home once in 25 years. Rack 'em up, rack 'em up, yeah, yeah.
Listen to the microcosm Friday night. Mom's Jimmy. His buddy Guy. What kind of woman is this? Freeworld.fm.
The gates of heaven must be open. I think I saw an angel just walk by. Hey, the gates of heaven must be open. I think I saw an angel just walk by. I heard a blind man scream and say, now there goes a sight for my soul eyes. There goes a sight for my soul eyes. Now there goes a sight for my soul eyes. What kind of woman is this? You should be locked up, pretty girl, in my bedroom with me. Hey, you should be locked up, pretty girl, hey, in my bedroom with me. So we could do the same thing that Adam did under that old apple tree. What he did.
Bruce McDonald, give out that number.
Well, Jimmy, we're all Starlink. There's a Starlink lineup down the road, man. You got 3 callers on the line.
Sweet. All right, here's Everything's Broken. We'll be right back with our callers on the line. It's freeworld.fm, Revolution Radio, Independent Broadcast Network.
Ain't no news of diving. Ain't no news of joking.
First time I ever heard this song was on Oracle Broadcasting Network. Whenever their internet thing would happen, something would go down, and something would happen, and they would go off the air, this would play. And that's the first time I ever heard it.
Broken lines and broken strings, broken threads and broken springs, broken arrows and broken heads, people sleeping in broken beds. Ain't no news of diving, ain't no news of joking. Everything is broken.
All right, Bruce McDonald, we got callers, you say, lined up. There we go. Let's get them. Let's get it on. Who's first? 330.
I would say that 330 is 805 is still with us. 330, I think, is you're first up there. Batter up.
Come on in, 330.
Hey guys, it's Trish from Ohio. How
Hey
y'all doing?
Trish. What's
Hey
happening?
Trish.
Hey, you know, there's not a whole lot that gets my Irish up. It doesn't matter what's on the news. I just kind of shrug it off. But this bullshit interview that little fucker Carlson did with Alex Jones really, really pissed my ass off.
Did it?
When he came on and said that he's predicted all of this. I mean, right now, it makes me so mad to watch. And I don't know why. I really don't know why. I think the bottom line is to watch history just rewritten. That degenerate, trainee-chasing piece of shit, Alex Jones, he has, oh my God, I can't even hardly talk.
All right, listen.
Don't hold back, Trish.
Trish, don't hold back.
Let real feelings out. Go for the full catharsis.
Don't hold back. But listen, let me just say this: if you're pacing back and forth because you're agitated, I would recommend that you find a solid place and stay still because you're fading in and out. So just find a good spot and then tell us exactly what you think. So you saw the interview then?
I didn't watch all of it. I just heard the part about how he predicted 9/11. That's all I needed to see. And that's what really ticked me off.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm pretty sure it was Bill Cooper.
And it's well known that back in the day, that Alex Jones used to pick the topics, whoever was talking about what, whether it was Cooper, Rents, Breitbart, whoever, okay? Whoever had some information and had a story and on topic, he would dive in on it and make it his own. And that's how he, over the last 20 plus years, has just pulled the narrative whichever way he wanted to.
Well, you know what's interesting?
Okay?
You know what's interesting, Trish, about him? Is he's sort of... Do you remember when Bill O'Reilly was on Fox News?
Yep.
And then Bill O'Reilly used to have this thing where it was called the talking points. Okay? And he would do this thing where he would do these issues on this thing called talking points, and then it would magically, that would be the actual talking points for the rest of the 24-hour period until the next talking points came out. Because everybody would be talking about what he was talking about. Well, I mean, it's just, Alex Jones is the same thing for the alternative media. He's like the Bill Cooper not Bill Cooper, like the what's his nuts on Fox News, Bill O'Reilly. Yeah, I got Bill Cooper and Bill O'Reilly superimposed in my brain. There's too many Bills. You got too many Bills too. Everybody's got them. But listen, so Bill O'Reilly talking points, Alex Jones talking points. You know, when Alex Jones first got into this business, you know, Bill Cooper blazed a trail, and then Alex Jones followed that same path. And, you know, it was just a small trail, like a deer trail. Well, you know what it is now? It's an 8-lane highway, man. Okay? They're
all going the wrong way.
There are so many podcasts in this world that are based solely on what Alex Jones does or doesn't do, say or doesn't say. You know? And then
exactly.
there's
and that court case that you were talking about,
mm-hmm.
that court case was all bullshit. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It was he will never pay a dime, and he's never I mean, it was all bullshit. It was all just for show, except what you said.
Right.
What the verdict was.
Exactly.
What the bottom line was.
Exactly.
The verdict.
Mm-hmm.
He'll never pay a dime. It was all a show, except for the verdict.
Mm-hmm.
That was to let people know, oh, you could lose everything too. That's what it was all about.
Yeah. You
okay?
could lose everything too.
He is part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He gives no truth. It's all bull crap. You know, and
the thing
I love Bruce when you said they allow him, they pay him. Okay? He's their boy.
The thing is, okay, Hank, stay there, Trish, because we got to go to, what is that other caller, 385? Stay there, 385. The thing is that, once you have somebody's attention, and once you've created a seductive character, and you got somebody's attention. Now you have their ear, and once you have their ear, it's more or less. There's one place that mostly everything comes from, and that is down in Austin, Texas. It is the command center for the info.
Yeah.
It's the command. It's the command center for the info war.
And they will. He is part of whatever's coming. Him, Tucker Carlson, Trump, whatever other Gates, whatever big names that you hear regularly that are on the right, they've got a voice for us or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're there for a reason. They're not for anybody. They're not for any citizen.
Oh man, I should pull. I got audio.
Yeah.
I got audio on this other computer of Alex Jones after Trump got elected, and he was drunk on the air drinking champagne.
He's always drunk.
No, he was drunk on the air.
degenerate.
He was drunk on the air drinking champagne. He's just like the golden toad. He's like the golden toad. Yeah. I should dig that. I should dig that up. All right, stay there, Trish.
Yeah, his evil deeds are catching up with him. You can see it.
Well, the thing is, it's we're here now. There was a time. There was maybe a moment. There was a moment that people could have made a difference, but now those people's making a difference. Time is over. We've passed the point of anybody being able to stop the steamroller. We're about to go into 2024, and so listen, Trish, stay there. 385. Welcome into the microcosm.
You're Starlinked in, buddy.
Come on in, buddy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is Tom in Utah.
Hey, Tom, what's happening? Thanks for calling.
I picked up on you. Jim Fetzer had me on Revolution Radio Studio A or B, I don't remember. But anyway, he brought me in because I'd identified a poisoning issue that impacts 1/10 of the nation.
Now, let me ask you this question, because we're on YouTube, so if you're about to give us health information, I just should say that it puts us in a weird situation just because we don't know what we can or cannot say and what is considered to be. So I just want to say we're not giving out any medical advice. Go ahead.
No. What had happened, I had a family come to me with a deathly ill child. They were being accused of abuse and neglect, but when I got into the case, I identified the fact that the family, particularly the infant, had been affected by carbon monoxide poisoning, literally produced in their mobile home or in their mobile home's design, and literally being brought back into the unit. Wow. And I found out that 1/10 of the nation that live in manufactured mobile homes were suffering from the same risk.
Wow.
So the manufactured housing industry came under the power of HUD in 1976, and the entire industry was allowed to produce a ventilation system that violated health code and subtly poisoned the inhabitants inside, especially the infants or the toddlers, the elderly.
Oh my God. Wow.
And the medical community, unfortunately, had been manipulated to stop diligently testing for carbon monoxide, formaldehyde, and other of the common environmental toxins that impact us.
Wow. Now, you know what? Now that you're saying this, I remember when Katrina happened, and they doled out a bunch of these trailers to people, and they got sick. This is the same thing you're talking about, isn't it? It's the same thing they were saying. It was formaldehyde.
Jesse, a gentleman who worked for the sheriff's department in New Orleans, spotted my work on the web. He called me up and he said, "Dr. Rogers, would you mind coming to New Orleans? We've got babies and elderly and people being affected in these FEMA trailers. we've identified formaldehyde as a toxin, but I see that your information provides even another toxin, which has not been identified, and that's carbon monoxide. So I said, well, I'd be happy to come down and help you, but don't offend me again by calling me that, what do you call it, title of nobility, which is bull crap, doctor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a group of my friends and I bagged the profession back when we began to realize that it was not to the benefit of the people, but to the benefit of the bankers and insurers. But anyway,
the business.
So,
we were talking a little bit about that earlier. How if it becomes a business to make money, it has nothing to do with how well you are. So
right.
Yeah. So I understand why you'd wanted to reject that title. Go ahead.
Yeah, I said, just call me Tom Rogers or Mr. Rogers or Brother or whatever, anything but that phony piece of crap that's on the wall that says you agree with other creeps. I'm sorry.
Did you go down there to the site?
Yes, and I was party to the affecting of the, what do you call it, decommissioning of those FEMA trailers.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, I didn't realize that I was stepping on the toes of a very powerful NGO, which then was shipping those defunct FEMA trailers to Haiti, for example.
Oh, my God. You're kidding me.
So
Why am I not surprised, Jimmy?
Oh, that is too much, Mr.
That
Rogers.
doesn't have to do anything to do with the Clintons, does it?
Well, let me think. Who is supposedly being a kind heart to the Haitians after their tsunami and earthquake and tsunami? Yeah.
Wow.
In fact, I literally sat with her 3 times. I did not know that was, the arrangement until later. And I actually went to D.C. because I figured they would be grateful for my expose on this poisoning problem. Oh, yeah, we better fix that.
Mm-hmm.
But the opposite was true. In fact, Jim Fetzer had me on Revolution, and as we broached that issue.
Yeah.
And I just picked up on you, and I said, well, you know what? People are still suffering in the mobile homes that were never remedied or...
And you know what's interesting about this to me is that all of these people that live in these homes, they're all individuals, and they don't have the ability to talk to a bunch of other people that also live in mobile homes to find out what goes on with them. But I bet you across the board, would you say that across the board, people living in these homes may just all have headaches and just the stuff that goes on, and they just take an Advil and or whatever it is, and
or it's misdiagnosed as, quote, COVID.
Wow.
How's that one?
Yeah, that's pretty intense. That is
the
really...
symptoms are classic. The only difference is you generally don't have a high fever with carbon monoxide poisoning, but all the other symptoms of the flu are classic to the carbon monoxide poisoning.
That is a mind blower because go ahead, Bruce.
What's causing it? Is it the material that the home is built out of, or the lack of airflow, or what's causing it?
Actually, a design in the unit, plus in the FEMA trailer event, they were shipping material from China. I actually talked to John Huntsman, who is our ambassador. He was an associate of my father in the past.
Wow.
So I was talking to John. I said, would you please try to track down the people who worked in the industry producing the particle board, the flake board, the plywood, whatever, the materials used in the FEMA trailers. And when he tried to find out how the employees were, he could not locate any of the employees because
they were all dead.
Particle board.
It's always
the formaldehyde. Yeah, the formaldehyde levels were so high that if you worked in that industry, you probably ended up prematurely sickened or dead.
Yeah.
But anyway,
This is absolutely mind blowing. Now listen, Bruce? Can you text? Can you text, Bruce?
Yeah.
Can you get a text, Mr. Rogers?
Yeah.
Can you get a text, Bruce? Text. I'm gonna give you my email address because I'd like you to come back on the show and do a full show. Do a full show with us about this because this is mind blowing. I mean, I have relatives that live in mobile homes, is the thing. So
I do too.
Yeah.
And they're generally ill or not as healthy as other people. Why? Because they're being poisoned subtly. When you go to gassingamerica.com or tominutah.us, you'll see the rendering of this problem.
What is it? Gassing America?
Yeah. Gassingamerica.com or poisoningthepoor.com. That'll get you to the same website.
Poisoning the
or
poor.
tominutah.us. Tominutah.com right now is I'm defending a young man, not a young man, a younger man. I'm 83, by the way, 82 going 83.
Mm-hmm. And I take it you don't live in a mobile home.
Heavens no.
Well, I mean, you made it that far, so I'm assuming you definitely don't.
Yeah, but what's really sad is the quote professionals that I've spoken to, and you can see that in a story. If you go to intheair.news, intheair.news, all one word, INTHEAIR.news, NEWS, not .com or .org, but .news. Elaine Jarvik, the ex-wife of Robert Jarvik, for the Jarvik Heart fame.
Right.
She knew me back when that project was going, so she put her life and her career at risk, followed me around, and developed a story on this. And literally, the day that I was flying to New Orleans to satisfy that request, I called her and I said, Elaine, you've been tracking with me on this story for almost a year. When are you going to publish? I said, babies are dying. Elderly veterans that are handicapped, that are housebound, all these people are dying, and they don't even know why. Or they're being sickened, and they don't know why. How many dead babies does it take before you publish? She was silent. I said, Elaine, how many dead babies does it take? And then right at that moment, they announced the boarding of the airplane for New Orleans. And I said, Elaine, I'm headed to New Orleans. I'm going to go save lives. What about you? She was silent, and I hung up. 2 weeks later, my brother called me from Utah, and he said, Tom, guess what? Your story is on the front page of the Deseret News Sunday edition. That's the big edition. Elaine Jarvik published that story. But within a couple of weeks, she was relieved of her duties. She was a 30-plus years Pulitzer Prize reporter. And they were so upset at how she exposed the failure of medicine to identify this poisoning problem, despite the fact that the industry was producing the problem.
So, hey, we got a question, Mr. Rogers, about RVs. Are RVs similar to this also?
They can be.
Okay. Now, would it matter what year the RV is, or did they? I mean, they don't even give a shit about this, right? I mean, they're still making stuff with formaldehyde, right? I mean, well, they're still making it with the same ventilation configuration, which creates this problem. See, it's hidden in plain sight. If you look at the top of a mobile home, made in 1976 all the way up until now, you'll see the furnace exhaust, the water heater exhaust, if it's got a water heater next to it, but only 3 feet away from both of those stacks will be a Chinaman's cap over a pipe. That's what's called a blend air intake. Literally, they are bringing air in 3 feet away from the furnace exhaust for people to breathe. And when the wind or the breeze is the right way, you're breathing
either almost pure exhaust or at least a subtle mixture.
Oh
Or if
man,
you know,
Bruce.
and so it's really.
Have you written this up at all?
Yeah, he's just, it was. Go ahead. Gassing.
Yeah, go to gassingamerica.com or tominutah.us. Tominutah.com is my other case I'm working on, even though I was blinded in this process.
What? What happened?
Well, I was in D.C. and I was exposing this evil that the federal government had permitted, underwritten. And for my trouble, they decided to readjust me biologically so that I would be less efficient. Not necessarily dead, but just dysfunctional.
How did that happen?
Well, I was low budget, you know, operating on my own funds, which is basically nothing.
Right.
And I was staying at a hostel. You know, and a hostel is
right.
Not the most secure place to be.
No.
And they knew that since I was in my 70s at the time.
You were staying in a hostel in Washington, D.C.? In Washington, D.C., you were staying in a hostel?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
In just outside of Silver Springs, Maryland. Yeah.
Oh. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, I was visited, and all I can tell you is I woke up one morning with a very strange burning in my one eye, and my heart was in tachyarrhythmia. You know what tachyarrhythmia means? Running fast, but irregular.
Right.
And if it were not for a quart of black coffee, I probably would have not made it. See, I worked in pathology, so I understand coffee is your friend if you're in a heart attack.
Okay.
Or if you've had something given to you that, induces a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I was able to make it after waking up and realizing I had been messed with. I was able to make it across the street to the 7-Eleven, and I chugged down a quart of black coffee. But then I was able to later that day to make my way back over to my friend, Orrin Hatch, Senator Orrin Hatch, as well as Mike Lee, as well as Charles Grassley.
So you
and Charles Grassley said, "Tom, you're lucky you didn't end up in Marcy Park."
Yeah. So did they help get you back home?
Well, the one eye I lost the vision in the one eye, so I was operating one-eyed. I was also recommended that I not speak too much about the issue because it would freak people out and scare them away. Are you ready for this? The last people I spoke to while I was in D.C. was, of all people, Helen Patton, the granddaughter of George Patton, and Michael Flynn.
No.
In fact, Michael Flynn, realizing that I was in trouble, actually accompanied me back to Dulles Airport.
Wow.
Isn't that bizarre?
That is just absolutely mind-blowing. It's not often I am blown away, but I seriously, Mr. Rogers, I am blown away by your call tonight. This is just, this is another example of what we keep talking about. We keep thinking we're paying these taxes to develop these bloated government agencies that are supposedly have our best interests at heart. They're taking care of us. That's what they're here to do. They're getting paid good money to take care of us by watching what's going on and making sure we're not being poisoned. And now here I'm finding out, maybe people can't afford to have a $500,000, $600,000 house. Maybe they want to buy a manufactured home because that's what they can afford. Lots of people are, like we talked about a little while back. It's just that, the statistics came out, and half of America is living on $48,000 a year, $3,400 a month before taxes. So, I mean, people are buying manufactured homes because they can't afford to live in these other big homes. So you're telling me that even today, even after everything that you put forward through this investigation that you did over the FEMA thing, that to this day they're still doing exactly the same thing? Nothing's changed?
Yeah, as best I know. As best I know. And they have not gone back and remedied the problem for the 34 million people living in them, at the time that I even exposed it in D.C.
Have they made any kind of retribution to the families and the people that stayed in those trailers, those FEMA trailers down in Louisiana when Katrina hit?
Are you kidding me? No.
Has anybody gone back and done any? Have you gone back and done any investigation on the to look at the long-term detrimental effects from these families? How many of them are still even alive from their exposure to some of these poisonous gases?
Well, I've had many reports coming back from what they see the information on the website, and I get people calling me. I'm out there as big as life. People say, "Well, why do you publish your number?" I said, "My friends need to find me easily. My enemies know how to do it no matter what."
Mm-hmm. Well,
I'm worried about saving lives.
The thing is what we were talking about earlier. We were talking about a particular person, and people have talked about him being right about this or that. The thing is about that is that information that he brings forward to the table, it all exists there. The only reason nobody's hiding it. It's just no one's promoting it. So the thing is if no one brings something to the table and promotes the story doesn't exist. And so that's, if Alex Jones would get a hold of this story, then
he already should have. I contacted his producers.
Mm-hmm.
They know of the story, but there's been never any word of it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, see, if he put your story up there and promoted your story, then millions and millions and millions and millions of people would listen to it and know about it over and over again. But the thing is you're not on heavy rotation on the promotion schedule over at the Palantir or whatever, in QTEL. I'm just kidding, Alex. But because I know he listens. Don't even pretend you don't, bro. I know you do. Only because I heard him. We talked about something one night, and then Monday morning, the first thing he talked about was what we were talking about that night. But anyway, I think it was the Bill Hicks satanic contract idea that we were talking about. But anyway, go ahead. So, listen, I'm really happy that you called, and what we want to do is definitely have you come back. So you can come on and say the first hour of the show, because there's a lot more people earlier on the show that I'd really like to have, find out about what's going on and finding out about gasingamerica.com. So Bruce McDonald, Rock and Rio, any questions? Callers that are on the air, Trish, 805. You guys have anything you want to say to Mr. Rogers?
Thank you for your work.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bruce.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you for your work. Yeah, go ahead.
The real thanks is when a baby is saved or an elderly person is saved. A veteran is saved. That's the other thing. I prevented the Veterans Administration from utilizing those FEMA trailers that were decommissioned through our work. They were going to take those FEMA trailers and use them for housing the low-income, the struggling vets, the homeless vets. And when I talked to the Veterans Administration in D.C., they put a stop to that. And, of course, that additionally ticked off the NGO that was brokering those units.
So now, would you say there's a high percentage of veterans that buy or acquire mobile homes because of the price?
Yes. A lot of veterans, especially disabled, even those that are dealing with PTSD or the emotional damage done to them, they generally end up in a less economically sound situation. So they unusually are a high rate occupants in the manufactured or mobile home units. Absolutely. And when I laid this open to the Veterans Administration in D.C., they said, wow, we didn't realize this. And I said, okay, but what are you going to do to help me get the word out? And they said, we can't do anything. All we can do is keep it as an internal knowledge,
This
and
is
that's
too
it.
much. Orrin Hatch didn't want to do anything about it.
Oh, yeah, he helped me, but he had to do it quietly. Anybody who became involved basically were threatened or encouraged to not participate. So Mike Lee, Orrin Hatch, Charles Grassley opened doors quietly behind the scenes. The CDC stepped in and validated the discovery. Believe it or not, the CDC. But it wasn't the men, it was the women of the CDC. The females got together, and if you open up gassingamerica.com, there'll be a link in the first or second paragraph to the CDC report. It's very subtle. It's almost hidden. But then there's also the Government Accountability Office, the GAO.
Mm-hmm.
They were in awe. They were amazed at this, and they were also super amazed when they found out that the medical community had been allowing this poisoning to occur without raising a flag. Like I say, the people who started to speak or spoke up felt the same kind of repercussions or threats of repercussions as I've done, as I've experienced. Sorry.
I'm going to tell you what, you know what? I really want to help you get the word out on this, man. I have a few friends that broadcast and have big audiences, man. I'm gonna see what I can do about trying to help you get this story out. I think it's important. I think you've done a lot of work, and I think, I think it needs...
Well, like I say, it represents most of the bottom 10th of the nation economically live in manufactured or mobile homes. Are Native Americans. You can see me on my webpage with Russell Means.
Oh, my God.
Russell Means was so grateful that he literally put my story in his Russell Means Freedom Publishing.
I love Russell Means, just to let you know. I mean, I think he was really a great, great person, man. So
he actually came out and honored me in the last months of his life. He unfortunately waited too long to take my counsel on how to improve his cancer situation.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, he did come out to Utah, and as you can see on my webpage, Gassing America, on the right side at the top, it's a picture of me and Russell together.
Wow.
And he was a grateful man, but he said, Tom, welcome to the reservation.
Yeah, I know. And, he said that. He said, you're all on a reservation.
Yeah.
And, just like, they didn't just free the slaves, they made everyone slaves. They just took away, they just made everyone slaves with the 13th Amendment, didn't they? But anyhow, that's a subject for another time. I'm blown. Like I say, it's very rare that I'm ever shocked. I mean, I've never heard anything about this at all in my entire time of absorbing this information, and I'm just actually blown away that you called in and you're sharing this with us tonight here on freeworld.fm, revolution.radio, and the Independent Broadcast Network. Please continue. If you have anything else you'd like to add, we've got a few minutes left.
Well, just the fact that it's going to take the word of mouth, friend to friend, caring individual, caring human being, a person with empathy to save the babies, the elderly, retired, the handicapped, the veterans, the Native Americans, the Black Americans, the people who are poor. That's why I chose that title as an alternate title, Poisoning the Poor, poisoningthepoor.com. But it opened up, it says Gassing America. That's the original. But before that, this case was built on the cases over in the the link bar that says license-to-kill.us. Literally, I expose that tag that's on the right, I should say the left rear of the trailer. It says this trailer has been inspected and how to say, conforms to the health and safety codes of HUD. How about that one? HUD.
HUD.
HUD is the controlling agency over the manufactured mobile home industry. And they do that through a section called Manufactured Housing Consensus Committee, or Manufactured Housing Safety.
These are unelected officials or appointed officials?
Civil servants. HUD is civil service.
Well, so what you're telling me is that all manufactured homes fall under HUD. They have to have some HUDs.
Exactly.
Okay, so they're basically okaying these designs that are deadly and gassing America and killing the poor.
Not only okaying it, but literally, how to say, requiring it. And I spoke to a gathering in Tulsa, Oklahoma, of the manufacturers. There was a big gathering down there at the their fairgrounds. They had this arena filled with mobile homes. And as I went there, I was really a persona non grata, although they were gracious with me, and they said, yeah, we've now been made aware since I've been to D.C. already. The word went out. As soon as I spoke to the first person in D.C., the word went out.
Wow.
Wild. Underneath. The industry was being flagged. There's a guy who's exposing this problem. So when I went to Tulsa the following, in 2010, they all knew of me, and they said, well, we've been aware of this, but we did not think it was a problem because they were not getting any reports of death or injuries because of it. So they thought it was not a problem.
Because they seem isolated. They seem like isolated health incidents in people just for no reason. It has nothing to do with the homes that they're living in. They don't put it together. That's what I mean. There is no collective group of, we're all these people that live in this type of a home and look at the health problems that are all in commonality with us. I'm telling you too, I just have this feeling there's just people that are living with chronic headaches and all kinds of stuff like this, and they just keep taking the Advil and they keep taking the pain medications for it, and it's just never going to go away because there's a gas, it's invisible gas in your house, ladies and gentlemen. Now let me ask you this question. This is what's burning my ass right now. You mean to tell me that you went and talked to manufacturers, made them aware of a problem that they may or may not have been aware of before, and they continue to use these poisonous materials when they have plenty of organic materials that can be replaced, these poisonous materials, by, say, hemp or something else? You mean they continue to use the poisonous materials? Why would they do that if they didn't want to gas America?
Economics. And they said, well, if we violate or we go contrary to what HUD tells us, we can lose a contract. In other words, we'll be put out of the business of producing these units. You know, like Boise Cascade or whatever you want to name. Mm-hmm. They don't want to offend HUD because HUD is their overseer and their, licensor.
And it's their bread and butter. It's what they can count on. They can count on it no matter how the economy's doing. Doesn't matter if the veterans want to buy a home for themselves anymore because the government's buying a bunch of homes. But they have to be this kind of home built this way, eh? They have to use this kind of material, huh? You mean you can't substitute the material, you know? There's a way when you get a contract, you can put in substitutes. In other words, they ask for this, but you show them that, and then you provide the data. And then they make a change, and then you say, you can use this too. We'll also allow you to use hemp. Why wouldn't they allow them to use hemp? You say it's cost preventative. Well, hemp, they could just be growing their own hemp. I mean, it comes back every 90 days. I mean, it's an unlimited supply. Go ahead. It's free. Go ahead. Almost. Just about. Go ahead.
it's economics, and they don't want to create a liability issue, because if you buy a new mobile home and your breathing air or blend air intake is at 10 to 12 feet away from the exhaust, you're going to look at, if you notice that, you say, oh, my blend air is 10 feet or 12 feet or 14 feet away from the furnace exhaust, but you're across the street in your older unit. Look, yours is only 3 feet away.
You're going to have to forgive me. I'm going dense because it's so late, but it actually dawned on me why you're so dangerous.
Yeah.
You are so dangerous because if they admit that you're right about any of this, then that implies liability for them, for everybody who ever bought or lives in or rented a mobile home.
45 years plus.
Man.
Jackie Childs.
There you are. You are a dangerous man to a lot of people. And I can see, my friend, wow, gassingamerica.com. Man, hats off to you. Seriously.
I bookmarked it, and I'm gonna try and write some blogs based on it.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe you could have him on your show too.
Yeah.
And help.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely going to let some friends of mine know about what you got going on there and your documentation, so that people can get.
See, what bothers me is my fellows and even my students, and as a consequence, have been betraying the public by not diligently testing for these gases in your blood. And if you're tested, my mother and father nearly died in a mobile home in Zuni, Arizona, or Zuni, New Mexico.
Let me ask you something. How did you find Into the Microcosm, this show?
Well, Jim Fetzer found out about me and had me on Revolution Radio, about 2 years ago. And RBN Radio had some broadcast problems this week. I wasn't able to listen to them through my phone number, the 641 number you dial in for them. And so I had Revolution Radio still stored in my phone from when I was on with Jim Fetzer. And I just dialed in.
Found
and
us
you guys
by
were
accident.
talking.
You found us by accident, huh? Or was it? I think it's a synchronicity, man, and I'm happy that you're here. Very happy. Bruce McDonald.
Well, the blessing was you gave out your call-in number.
Yeah, man.
The only thing I can encourage you to do is speak it a little bit slower and more times for us blinded people. By the way, when I went, I was the first trip to D.C. in 2011. I went with the National Congress of American Indians, and that's when they got me in the right eye. Then I I drove back home with one eye, flew back and drove back after the experience of being assaulted there in D.C. the first time. But I went back and went to a program in Portland, Oregon for the National Congress of American Indians, and that's when I was asked to go back again with them to D.C., second trip in 2011. And that's when they got me again to take out the other eye. So it took a while for the other eye to fail because they were a little bit more subtle about it. But since then, I've lost my home, lost my, of course, my reputation went in the toilet. That's another way they wreck you, is they destroy your reputation. They say, oh, yeah, he's full of bull crap. He never did that. Although I will thank Elaine Jarvik for taking the courage to publish, because she knew who I was and what I had done in the past. But the problem is, anybody who's spoke out on this has been squashed. But I was really upset at my professional fellows who've been allowing this to occur. And I think that the real instrument that is going to take out humanity is not nuclear, because that leaves a lot of damaged infrastructure. It has to be biological.
Oh, yeah, man. 100%.
And see, that's where I make a lot of people uncomfortable. I understand pathology. And I know how insidious the evil people are. And they will set it up so you end up sick. Like the people in the mobile homes, that's one way. But by making sure you are infected, by the way, I will just tell you one thing that is true. Pathogens are not ethereal. They're not terrestrial. They're not tactile. They don't come through the air. They don't come through earth or the environment, open environment, and they don't come through contact.
Well, how do they come?
The pathogenesis rules are fixed. Fat in fat, flesh in flesh, blood in blood, or plasma in plasma. That's as much as I'll tell you. And as long as we can keep you stupid, you will infect yourself. That's what Jim Fetzer, he kind of freaked out when I started to talk to him about those facts. But the fact is, we have been so brainwashed, so gaslit, we are willing to kill ourselves unwittingly. And the boys who are in control, or think they're in control, they're, manipulating your minds and your behavior. So you will auto-side. You'll self-destruct. And they won't have to clean up the nuclear radiation or the, infrastructure damage. They'll just walk in and occupy your house. How's that?
Wow. It's into the microcosm. Every Friday night, 9 o'clock Pacific. We'll be back tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Pacific. Wow.
Thanks for calling, man.
Literally, I am blown away.
It's intense.
It's very intense.
Tomahawk missile information.
Yes.
My phone number is at the bottom. My phone number is at the bottom of the webpage. It forwards into my cell phone, and I am honored to speak to anybody and help them understand the problem and the misdiagnoses that are a consequence.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to grind your axe, my friend. This is an important issue. And, there's a lot of issues, but this one seems very important. It's actually mind-blowing, the amount of people. Now, you said back during the... you had tracked how many people had lived in mobile homes at one point?
Yeah, between the GAO and the CDC committee, we figured about 34 million people were living in units at that time in 2008, 2009.
What about these tiny homes? These people buying these sheds that are made out of this particle board. Is that the same kind of particle board they're using for these FEMA cabins? These
Probably
these gas chambers?
If they're getting low cost materials, because now we've, like the Keystone Pipeline's been shut off, for example, so we're now paying a premium for gasoline and for oil or natural gas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, same thing's occurring. They've made it so hard to produce a piece of actual
particle board,
a proper plywood or particle board, or or building materials, that people are going outside to China.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next week, ladies and gentlemen. It's Into the Microcosm.
Well, people
freeworld.fm. Say goodnight, Ria. Good night, bro.